Alrighty, this is the sound check portion, people.
Alrighty then.
So let us know how we sound, please.
Alrighty then. Yes, how do we sound? Talia, when I saw that, and this is, I agree they should allow fans. I thought that said only fans. So it just got my attention, but not in an appropriate way.
Right. We're not doing an OnlyFans. If you want to, you can. But
I mean,
we're not.
My OnlyFans would probably be me eating.
Yeah, apparently that's a big thing.
Yeah, I'll just.
What? Fuck. What was I doing? Oh yeah, next week.
I don't know.
All right. How we sounding, people? Did we? Okay.
I have a series of clicks. All right, Luna Girls giving us a straight skinny. You all right over there? You haven't even had your shot yet.
I know. I don't know what it is. It's all that food we just ate.
Chip, chip, chip. Fucking birds are chirping.
I know. I'm torn between like 3 different toasts. I think I'm gonna keep it simple.
Better figure it the fuck out because we're gonna be doing this shit here.
Yeah, we might be going a little bit early. I know we said 5:30, but I mean we're fucking ready. I got my drinks poured already. God, those birds are loud. Fuck off. Jesus.
Go out there and like slap some shit together.
Yeah.
Now you're making me do it. It was that Korean
barbecue.
Yeah, Korean hot sauce there.
Yeah.
Open up the sluices from both ends.
It's all right. I'm gonna wash it down with a shot of Fireball. So
wash it down. Wash this down.
Yes. All right. Well, they said we sound good. Chat is already populating. Thunderstorm on the way. Oh yeah. If the stream cuts out mid-show, there's a shitload of weather in the area.
Yep.
And we just got a like severe thunderstorm warning for Cherry Hill where we're at right now.
Yeah.
In fact, let me just look at the radar real quick.
Yeah, me too. Well. Oh, that's moving the wrong way, though.
Yeah, it's gonna pass north of us.
Yeah, that's beating the shit out of Swede right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
So we're good. So, but just in case, you never know.
Fingers crossed, Big Swede doesn't get the flooding.
Yeah. All right.
Hey,
Vickers had a good comment.
Loud noises.
The Fireball. All right.
Fireball was a thing in the 90s.
Well, I have a story about this. We'll talk about it when we start.
All right.
Yeah.
You're early. Does the blue pill only last so long? What? All right.
We're talking about roofies or what?
I don't know. Roofies.
Yeah.
Call them flories.
How about groundies?
All right. I'm wet for some reason.
Ooh.
Sweating.
All right. See, I don't think this is going to make much of a clang, though. So I think I'm going to use this to toast and then take a shot.
Okay. All right.
And this will be my chaser.
Fair enough. We'll do a 30-second countdown.
Yep. No clever countdown again this week. Damn it. We were on vacation.
Yeah. We're on vacation.
All right. Let's do it. To the summertime.
To the summertime.
Ooh.
I don't know why you're doing that. Why are you doing that to yourself?
Oh, we'll get into it because with the summer comes vacations.
Yes.
And you and I are, just returned from a 2-week vacation.
Sadly, yes.
Yes. So we are back. And that being said, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, Mach 3 razors, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Schick to my Gillette, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
I think they're competition, though, aren't they? Between Schlick?
I know what I said.
Schick? Schick and Gillette.
Are you okay? Have you been drinking?
A little bit, but that Schlick. Fuck. Schick. So I've had Dollar Shave Club razors for like, I don't know, 10 years. So I haven't had to go out on with the peasants and buy a fucking razor in a long time.
Yeah, I did the Dollar Shave Club for a while, but man, their razors tore the shit out of my face. Oh. Plus, and they're not good for shaving your head. Like I need something that's a dual purpose, shaving the head and the face. Right. And the Mach 3s are still the perfect razor for that.
Yeah.
If you're only shaving your face, I can understand doing Dollar Shave, or even like the Schick Quattro, I think is what they're up to, or the 5 blades, or the Schick Cinco, whatever the hell it is.
We're not advertising for fucking razor blades here.
No.
I am curious as to what.
Well, what are we doing this week, Dave?
We're going back.
Yeah.
To 1990.
Mm-hmm.
When we're going to have our top 5 hits from 1990.
Yes, so we're talking about the music of 1990. We're stepping into our time machine, going back to 8th grade or freshman year of high school, wherever you were at the time. And we're going to get into a lot of those memories. And we're going to talk about the music of 1990, because there's a lot going on this year. And we're going to get into it, and we'll close it up with a top 5 list, as we always do when we talk about music.
Yes.
But until then, we got a lot of business to take care of.
We do.
And we have some new business and a kind of a big announcement.
Yeah.
So
it is kind of big.
Yeah.
I think.
It is.
To say that we are prepared for such a big announcement would be such a tremendous understatement. Because we're not prepared, as per usual.
You are not prepared.
This is, as any good Dave and Jason show, we are not prepared. However, starting today, as announced by Don Solsky fucking several times already, kind of ruining it. But yeah, we're going to be a part of the Red 5 network.
Hooray! Cue the celebration music. And we'll do that.
Yeah, add that in. Yeah. The Red 5 network, we actually talked about joining, a while back, and then we were going through the podcast conversion where we're, taking our Gen X POV and all things Star Wars and brand and making the merger to the Sidebar Cantina.
Yep.
So now the Sidebar Cantina is now going to be part of the Red 5 network. And when you ask, is the Red 5 network? Well, I will tell you.
Oh, Jason. Excellent.
I'm not going to give you a chance to answer. The Red 5 network is a whole bunch. Nope, that's not
what are you doing?
I don't know this.
He's not a technical guy, folks.
I am actually, and that's why it's so bad. I'm going to read this from the screen because the benefit of the podcast listener who's going to be listening to this on the podcast, because Red 5 Network is a collection of fan-based content creators whose sole mission is to enjoy creating content for other fans of that franchise in a galaxy far, far away, and other genre films. We've got show reviews, commentary, perspectives, and more. Born from a need to interact with Star Wars fans in a responsible and civil way. We're going to do our best.
Yeah, we'll give it the old college try.
This assembled group has demonstrated there is a change coming in the fandom. Listen, there is a lot of good podcasts on this network, and ironically, a couple of them that I was already subscribed to just based on our Star Wars research. When we were doing exclusively Star Wars all day, all the time.
Yep.
So I was already subscribed to some of these guys. But you have their member shows: Blue Milk Cafe, Conversations podcast, the Coruscant Radio Underground, which I had been subscribed to from a certain point of view, which sounds a lot like something that maybe we were just doing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we were first, but
you are saying we were better.
Maybe. Salty Nerd, the WSTR Galactic Public Access. There's actually another one that I was subscribed to. Yeah. And if you look here, you go to the Red 5 website, Red 5 Network website. In the Blue Squadron, we have some friends in here.
Hey, it's Escape Pod.
So, look, there's a lot of podcasts in here. I haven't even begun to digest how much content, Star Wars related content there is. I had the opportunity to actually be part of a roundtable with the Red 5 guys and gals when we did the Fate of the Jedi. Light of the Jedi. Yeah,
Light of the Jedi. The novel.
The
High Republic novel that I refuse to read.
Fucking hell. anyway, so yeah, it was great. So I'm looking forward to, as we were kind of getting to our Star Wars roots a little bit more, as we're, making the merger of our other podcasts.
Yep.
Now we're going to be in a network with like-minded individuals, and it's going to be great.
Yes.
As soon as we get it figured out.
Yes. Super excited.
It's going to be great.
Once we get all the bumps ironed out and everything.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Hooray.
Go follow them. Red 5 Network.
Yeah.
On all of the social media things. And our social media director, Luna Girl, is in there like swimwear. She's already on top of it. So I have full confidence in what's going to happen from this point forward.
Yes. Excellent.
Just not with this podcast.
Right. Okay. So moving on, we have a segment on the show that we do every week called This or That, where that same social media director, Luna Girl, will put up a poll on our Instagram. And what is our Instagram, Dave?
At the Sidebar Cantina.
Correct. And she gives you two options. You pick an option and we go over the results here on the show. Obviously, being a 1990 music episode, all of these are related to that topic. So let's just get right into it. Music artist from the year 1990. This or that. So we've got Wilson Phillips versus Roxette.
I went with Wilson Phillips.
As did I.
And I have story to tell with that when we start talking about the music.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. And
to be fair, Roxette didn't debut in 1990, unlike Wilson Phillips. I don't know why I'm slurring every other word today.
It's that Korean sauce.
Oh, that's what it is.
It fucking torched us, man. Like our fucking mouths are inflamed.
Indeed. Roxette had been around for several years before this, but they did have some big hits, which we are going to talk about in 1990. But the results came in, and Roxette actually won 58% to 42%. But I picked Wilson Phillips too. So we'll talk about them when we get into our main topic. Next, we have more of a dance type theme. We have Technotronic versus Snap.
This beat is.
Now, I'm trying to remember who did what, because they were all kind of one-hit wondery type people. Which one did the Pump Up the Jam? Pump Up the Jam. Pump it. Was that either of these two?
No.
Fuck. All right, what songs did these two do? Because I don't think I even picked one, because I'm just like, I don't remember.
I will attack, and you don't want that. That was Snap.
Okay.
I got the power.
Oh, who did that one? That was Technotronic?
No, that was Snap.
That was also Snap? Okay. I would have picked them if I knew that was the song that they did.
This beat is Technotronic.
Yeah, that just sounds lame.
It's a dance floor. Get on it.
Well, anyway, Technotronic.
Technotronic did do Pump Up the Jam. Okay.
Thank you, chat. You guys are the best. Technotronic won 60% to 40%. This one, we're going to get into these two quite a bit when we get into our main topic, but MC Hammer versus Vanilla Ice.
I forget who I picked. I think I picked Vanilla Ice.
I'm pretty sure I did too. Again, lots of stories about this this when we get to our main topic, but MC Hammer won 61% to 39%.
I mean, listen, we're going to get talk. You can't talk about the 90s without talking about You Can't Touch It.
Mm-hmm.
And the fucking pants.
And a song by one or both of those two may be in my top 5 list.
Maybe.
So
wow. Okay.
So we'll see. But anyway, like I said, Hammer won 61 to 39%. Next, we got a little bit of hip hop going on. Belle Biv DeVoe versus Digital Underground.
I think I went with BVD on this one.
I think I went with Digital Underground because the thing about Digital Underground that I remember the most is that was my first exposure to Tupac. Because he was a member of Digital Underground in the early 90s. The Humpty Dance was kind of a corny song, but they had a couple other songs along the way too. But I mean, I guess Belle Biv DeVoe was a much more serious kind of a group, whereas Digital Underground, they were just kind of silly.
So I used the BVD like vernacular, like I knew it.
Oh, did you?
So, like how I did that?
Yeah.
Really, I said BVD, like I was all into Belle Biv DeVoe. No, not really.
All right, last one: Motley Crue versus Skid Row.
I think I went with Motley Crue on this.
I did too. Did I say the results for the last one? I'm sorry. Digital Underground won 58% to 42%.
Fair enough.
And yeah, I picked Motley Crue too, even though I was never a big fan of Motley Crue. I've started appreciating them more and more as the years go on, but I fucking hated them back in the day. But I picked them in this one, and they won 75% to 25%.
All right.
So, and that's it. for this week's This or That. Thank you again to our social media director, Luna Girl. We're going to dive deeper into all of these topics when we get to the main topic.
Yes.
I just don't want to blow our wad.
And also, lest we forget, once we get through our top fives and those get added if they needed to be added to our Spotify playlist. Luna Girl has put together the Sidebar Cantina Spotify playlist for the 90s.
Yeah, just like we did for the 80s.
Yep.
And now she's doing them year by year, just like we're doing for the episodes.
So look for that if you are a Spotify person, of which I am, which means nothing. I mean, honestly. Yeah. But you can get our podcast through Spotify too.
Yes, you can.
So you can get on Spotify, get our podcast, and also get the list of things that, like I just
the
said.
playlist.
The playlist. Thank you.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck.
We are all out of like, you know what it is? It's
Vacation?
Because we took 2 weeks off. Yeah.
Yes.
It's because we went on vacation and we're kind of trying to get back into the flow of things, which, I mean, that's a great segue into our next segment. You want to get into our weeks?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So for me, I went to California for the 4th. I was there for a little over a week.
Nice.
I flew myself and my oldest son, Robert. We went out there together. It was kind of a half graduation gift for him because if you remember, he just graduated high school.
Yep.
So it was kind of, let's just go hang out with some family and obviously spend the 4th of July in California, which, oh boy, good shit there. So it started off shitty. We had a decent flight from Philly to Phoenix.
Right.
But because we flew into Bakersfield, which Bakersfield has its own airport, but it's a small airport. It does not get a lot of traffic. So you always have to get a layover somewhere, either Phoenix or I think Denver.
Direct Philly to Bakersfield would be really weird.
Yeah. So obviously we had to get a layover, which the flight, again, like I said, from Philly to Phoenix, fine, just standard by the numbers flight. No issue there. We had just about an hour to catch our connecting flight in Phoenix. So, and as we're going through, I'm trying to instruct Rob in like how to, do air travel, right? I'm telling him, you go to this fucking kiosk and you check in and you give them your flight confirmation number and all this, and they spit out your tickets. And this is what you do when you go through security. So I was trying to show him how to do this for when he has to do it on his own.
Because we are not casual travelers. Like
we're pros.
Yeah, we've done this a handful of times.
Yeah. So yeah, I consider myself a professional traveler.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to show him the ropes. So anyway, I'm like, all right, so we got to make this connecting flight. So rule number 1 for me is even if you have a little bit of time, even if you have like an hour to get to your connecting flight, I always get to the gate immediately. Yeah. Get the fuck off the plane, piss if you need to, but get right to your next gate because especially if you're in Dallas and you have to change flights, you got to go get on the little tram, the little meet that goes all the way around the fucking airport, and it takes time. So we do that. We get there plenty of time. It's like, fuck. Because the flight from Philly landed pretty early. So I'm like, God, this is going to be great. We landed with plenty of time, going to make our connecting flight, get to our gate. All right, let's get a snack. Almost boarding time, right? Gets closer and closer to boarding time. All of a sudden they make an announcement. You guys have a new gate. And we had watched the plane that was supposed to take us out land. The people got off. And we're thinking, okay, this is standard stuff,
right?
And they're going to spend 20 minutes cleaning up the plane, and then we're going to get on and all the usual shenanigans. They're like, yeah, you've got a gate change now. You got to go to this other gate, which was like 6 or 7 gates away. I'm like, okay, it's kind of weird, but no biggie. We go over to there, no plane at this gate. I'm like, okay, curious as to what's going on. There was nobody at the desk at the time. They changed the digital board. Right at the gate, and it said, Phoenix to Bakersfield, but there was nobody there, no boarding time or anything. So I'm like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So we're waiting. I'm like, okay, obviously something happened with that plane that landed. Like it had some sort of a serious maintenance issue that prevented it from taking off again. Then I overhear somebody finally gets to the fucking podium. Nobody's saying shit, and then I overhear them saying like they have to bring out a plane from the hangar. I'm like, okay, so obviously there was some maintenance issues.
Right.
And then they display a new board time, and it's like an hour later from what we were supposed to take off.
Okay.
I'm like, hour slip. All right, sure. Hour goes by. Comes to boarding time, right? So we're waiting by the podium. No activity. We're like, what's going on? I look out. No plane at the fucking gate. I'm like, I don't think we're boarding in 5 minutes. They changed the boarding time again to like another hour later. I'm like, what the fuck? And throughout all of this, nobody's saying shit. Like these fucking people working the desk. And normally I like American Airlines. They're pretty good. They treat the military really well. So I don't want to talk too much shit about American Airlines, but their communication in the fucking Phoenix airport sucks because they weren't telling us shit. And then it was every half an hour, it was slipping another half an hour, or then it would slip another hour. We were in Phoenix for 6 hours before we finally got a fucking plane to go to Bakersfield, which we could have driven in that fucking amount of time. Maybe. It would have been close. If we were going really fast, we probably could have made it. But yeah, no, we were stuck in Phoenix for fucking 6 hours before we could finally get a goddamn plane to Bakersfield. And then everything was fine after that. Our return home was fine. No issues in the airport whatsoever. So that part was good. It was just this weird fucking thing where we were stuck in Phoenix and they weren't.
So were you on like an American Airlines like Express? Like
yeah, it was like a local carrier, like, you know, had
American
they
Eagle or
yeah,
okay.
where it was like
so it was a smaller airplane.
Yeah.
So yeah, those they don't stage those airplanes very well. Like Phoenix might be like a hub. Phoenix was a U.S. Airways hub, I think, at one point, which is why it kind of is now with the American merger.
Sure.
So they don't keep a stockpile of those little airplanes. It's super reliant on their hub travel. So it's like, okay, we need to get this one back and forth. So they're probably we're thinking, oh, we'll pull this one out of the hangar. Oh, fuck, no, that one's not going to work. Now we have to wait for one to come in.
Yeah.
But all of this should have been communicated to
right. And none of it was.
getting fucking notifications on your phone.
Oh, we were getting notifications that our takeoff time slipped again. But that was it. No reason why. And every single time it slipped, even the time where we finally boarded and left for real, I didn't know if this was going to happen because it, kept slipping every fucking time. It was very frustrating.
Yeah, but I don't blame you.
Either way, we made it to California, spent the first few days with my dad, had some good quality time with him. We played board games a couple of nights. It was a good time, very low-key time. Then we went over to my mom's, which she lives almost an hour outside of Bakersfield now. She bought this little place in this small town called Maricopa, where it's this like, I don't even know how to describe it. Very, very small town, population of a few hundred, probably.
Wow. Okay.
Like super rednecky, kind of middle of nowhere. But these people know how to turn it up, especially when it comes to the 4th of July.
All right.
Now, I'm not going to say that anything illegal was set off, but
illegal by what standards? Like California standards?
Well, legal in Nevada.
Okay.
I'm sure. But no, the fireworks displays that I saw set off by the locals in Maricopa that night were better than most professional fireworks displays I've seen at theme parks or in cities or whatever.
And we wonder why California burns.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, there were at least 2 fires that night, like in the field by my mom's house. Only one of them concerned me, though. One of them was kind of small. The other one, I'm like, this could be bad.
Yeah, we got to do something about that.
Yeah.
That's also the fire marshal that's setting off all these things, probably.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing, too, was, so I got to my mom's house. My mom's birthday, by the way, is July 3rd, the day before 4th of July.
Right.
So this was all kind of part of the plan. We were going to spend my mom's birthday with her and the 4th, and it was going to be this,
I think that's Sweet's birthday, too.
Yeah. And then one of the
my sisters.
Also. Yeah. It was like 3 people that day all had birthdays.
That's funny.
Anyway, so it was going to be this big multi-day party. I get to my mom's. Oh, that's the other thing that went wrong. So I got a rental car while I was down there, right?
Uh-huh.
So I picked it up on the 2nd, the day I actually was going to drive out to my mom's, because I just hitched a ride with my dad for the first couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
It was this newer fucking Kia, bread box on wheels.
Already mistake.
Right. Either way, brand new vehicle.
Right.
5,700 miles on it.
Okay.
And we start heading to my mom's, get on the highway. I'm on the highway for maybe a mile and a half. And it's fucking, something's wrong. I can feel it in the steering wheel. Like the car is trying to like jerk one way or the other. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then all of a sudden, the back right tire just annihilates itself. I'm like, fuck. Did I not send you the pictures?
No.
Okay, so let me pull this up really quick. We're doing this live. Yeah, the whole passenger side rear tire just fucking shreds itself. Just completely is fucked. Again, on a brand new car with 5,700 fucking miles on it.
Well, I think it probably has more airtime than a lot of vehicles
Yeah.
being a rental. And
so that's
in the
what it
high
looked
desert.
like when I pulled over.
Okay.
Can you see where it's all separated?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when we got the tire off, that's what it looked like on the ground.
Oh, so Rob get some quality exposure changing a tire?
No. We let the roadside assistants do that for us.
Okay.
But it was this whole big ordeal because I bought fucking 6 cases of water bottles to take to my mom's house from Costco. Like the big fucking cases that were 40 water bottles each.
Right.
You know, she's had a shitload of people.
Oh
up there.
my God. And trying to get to the donut probably.
Yeah, we had to unload all that shit, throw it onto the side of the road.
Oh my God.
It was fucking 108 degrees outside, which, by the way, they were going through like this massive heat wave out there at the time. But like, I'm like, what the fuck happened? This tire just completely just shredded right there on the fucking highway. No idea what the fuck happened. So
there's no reason for unless something had mechanically failed on it, like somebody skidded a curb or something like that would have caused the sidewall to fucking blow out like that.
No fucking idea. But anyway, that was a whole big ordeal. My mom's husband came and picked up the kids and took them back to her house. I had to drive the fucking rental back into town and exchange it. It was this whole big ordeal. By the time I got to my mom's the night of the 2nd, everybody was there already. I had cousins there, families of cousins, my brother, friends of my mom's, tons of people.
Right.
We're talking like 40 fucking people between my.
So you increased the population of that town
considerably, yeah, for the weekend. And by the time I got there on Friday night, this was the night of the 2nd, everybody was fucking shit faced. Like they were all just like fucking 10 sheets to the wind. They were. Yeah, they were all feeling it.
It's a good thing you had all that water.
Yeah, indeed. So the funny thing was, the next morning, I get up. Like I didn't drink it all that first night that I got in. I'm just like I'm so fucking frustrated because of the rental car and everything. I'm just like just point me to my bed. I'm gonna get some sleep and then I'll wake up the next morning. We'll celebrate my mom's birthday. We'll have a good time. I get up the next day. Everything's all cool. My cousin and his friend who was down with him. I see them as I'm sipping my morning coffee, and it's about 9 o'clock at this point. They start fucking cracking beers. I'm like, oh boy. So this is what we're doing.
Day drinking. Let it begin.
Yeah. Well, because these are the same guys that were fucking annihilated the night before.
Well, you got to keep that going.
Yeah. So they're just doing a little hair of the dog and just fucking keeping it rolling.
Well, that aggregate hangover would probably kill them.
And that was the whole fucking weekend. All day the 3rd, all day the 4th. They were fucking pounding down. I'm like, you guys are fucking animals.
Yeah.
And again, by the time we got to the night of the 4th, it was just fucking lit. No pun intended. Dude, the fireworks show was incredible. This was Rob's first exposure to, self-lit fireworks on the 4th of July.
Right.
Because, out here in Jersey, we don't really do that. Whereas in California, growing up my whole life, we always bought our own personal fireworks and fucking lit them off. And it was great. It's like some of the best memories of my life are just 4th of July, like setting off our own fireworks and then, modifying them a little bit to make them more explosive a little bit. It was good. It was a great time. And I got to see cousins that I hadn't seen in years. My cousin Jason, if you follow me on Facebook, he tagged me in a bunch of stuff the morning of the 5th, I think it was, or the 4th. I hadn't seen him in like 30 years.
Wow.
So like he and I getting together and hanging out again, and he really wanted to spend time with Rob and get to know him. It was a really good time. Another cousin of mine, Tim, who I hadn't seen in a long time. It was really good kind of getting back together with these people and hanging out. And, I kind of forget sometimes over the years, like how cool my family is. Like they're a bunch of like fucking redneck hicks, but you know what? They fucking love their family and they treat everybody really well. And they're good people. So it was nice being exposed to that again. Cause I don't really get to see and experience that much
that's awesome. It makes all that other bullshit worthwhile.
Right, exactly. So just to get through the rest of my week, we've been talking about the roof of my garage forever. Finally had it done 3 days ago, something like that. I know I give you a lot of shit whenever you do a lot of stuff on your own, be it fixing cars or, doing home repairs. But at the end of the day, that's probably better because you don't end up with these fucking jackweeds that'll come and they'll be like, oh yeah, we quoted you, $5,000 or whatever to do this, but there's some more stuff that we have to do that we didn't think we'd need to do. It's going to be an extra $3,000 to do all this. And I'm like, you fucking pigs. You fuckers knew you were going to do this the entire time. And they do. It's the same shit with the cars. It's like, oh, you're here for an oil change, but the discombobulator on your engine just went and you need a whole new engine,
right.
And it's like, you fuckers.
For an oil change.
Right. So again, I just, I hate that shit. And that's the big drawback of not being able to do the shit on your own. So that's shit I'm dealing with right now when it comes to the roof of my fucking garage. $3,000 more than what we were quoted. It's like,
well, make sure offline you tell me what company that is, because we're in. Oh, the roof here.
They were gracious enough to put a fucking banner right in our fucking lawn. Yeah? So yeah, when you drive by, when you leave, it's right there still. I had
kick that thing out.
I haven't taken it out and pissed on it yet, but
we could take care of that at the break.
Yeah, that's coming soon. The last thing I have for my week, a lot's happened over the last 2 weeks, but we're trying to condense this a little bit. I purchased you a gift. You already knew about it, so this isn't a surprise to Dave, but I got Dave at the local Goodwill a Jyn Erso pop to add, and this is a Hot Topic exclusive.
Woohoo!
To add to the Sacred Jedi pops. So here you are, Dave.
The collection grows.
Enjoy. That is
I like it. I like it's a good one. And we know that I'm not a huge Rogue One fan. However, I did just recently get a Jyn Erso child one, so now I have an adult one.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's glorious, isn't it? Just looking at it.
Yes, that's a lot of
so
pops.
many Star Wars pops.
We're running out of room. We really need to expand the display area.
Room like that. How do I have two of these? Oh, they're two different ones. Oh my god. Anyway, I love the pops. The Sacred Jedi pops.
The Sacred Pops. And that's my week in a nutshell. Right. So I pass the baton to you, good sir.
I will attempt to also said nutshell. Ivo G was in the chat for a half a second.
Yep.
He apparently had to put the kids to bed. So
is that a euphemism for something?
Perhaps maybe in Bulgaria. I don't know. So we went to Cape Cod for the weekend. It was Kathy and I. We wanted to do something a little bit different. We have the shore for us is an hour away or less.
Yeah.
Depending on what shore you go to. And we go down the shore as much as we possibly can. If you follow me on Instagram, we go to the dog beach, let the dog run around and play on the beach and stuff. So getting up to Cape Cod, it was a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Got us out of the local area, which quite frankly was nice.
Yeah.
I turned off the fucking work chatter on the phone, and we headed up there. And it was actually a lot. Cape Cod was bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about the scale of it, I was thinking more like, you go down the shore and you have barrier islands and, you know how all these barrier islands connect. Well, up in Cape Cod, I kind of had this similar vision of, you're going to drive a little bit, then you're going to be kind of into the island area. And then, you'll be able to bounce in between all that. No, it's not. And it's boom. I can hear it in the background.
Mm-hmm.
It's significantly bigger than I thought it was going to be.
I've been holding those in.
I know. Watch it. So when we got up there and we started driving, I deliberately all right, we had plenty of time. It was one of those where we overestimated the traffic. So we got there. We left stupid early.
Yeah.
Right. We were driving before the sun was up. And got through the New York area pretty much unscathed and started heading up and really didn't hit any traffic going up. So when we got there, we had all kinds of time, before the hotel check-in. So we decided to just drive up to the seashore,
sure.
The Cape Cod National Seashore. And I won't belabor it. There's a lot of lighthouses. I have a thing for lighthouses. Again, follow me on Instagram. And it was just like the vacation as a whole was just nice. Like we weren't on any super, super timeline. We had ideas what we wanted to do. Like day 2, we went to Martha's Vineyard,
mm-hmm.
right?
So you took the ferry in and all that?
We took the ferry. We didn't bring the car, which I'm glad we didn't. Because if you've ever been up there.
I have once.
I would say, you went for a wedding or something, right?
Yep.
So we thought that, okay, we're not going to bring the car. So let's just take the ferry in and then we can take the bus, because you can get on the bus for like $8. And it'll take you wherever. You can hop on and off as many times as you want. It's like, all right, well, we'll take the bus and be able to do more of the island. So we went into Oak Bluffs. Yeah, Oak Bluffs instead of Vineyard, whatever the other part of Vineyard Estates,
Sure.
whatever the fuck it is. So we went to Oak Bluffs because for me, I was like, there looks like it's more of a like just a neat area, like in a little harbor. So I knew there was going to be restaurants and stuff like that, and some, there was a carousel according to the Google map. I'm like, all right, that'd be a cool place to start. Let's go there. And it's the path less traveled because everyone was going to the other location, other ferry stop.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of cars, but we were kind of on our own going over there. Great ferry ride. Tuesday, the weather was windy. It was windy. So there was white tops coming through and no issues at all on the boat. I was a little bit worried. I'm not great on the boats. My vestibular system isn't the best.
Right.
So I was a little nervous about that, but it was fine. It's a fucking huge ass boat. So yes, the codpiece was bigger than I thought.
No hesitation from the chat to make those jokes.
No, of course not. I expect nothing less. So yeah, we got into Oak Bluffs and sat down, had a nice meal right there on the water. Just took our time, enjoyed ourselves, and we're like, hey, you know what? Maybe we don't take the bus. Maybe let's just explore around here and see what there is to see, and then figure out where we're going to eat dinner and blah blah blah. So we started walking around. I had my camera, of course, because that's what I do. I hide behind the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking pictures, and there was these really cool fucking houses circa the 1860s, the mid 1860s. So immediately following the Civil War, these sons of bitches were showing up on the island to fucking knock together a bunch of houses.
Mm-hmm.
And so we saw a handful of them, like, oh, cool. The colors are cool and everything else. And we started walking down one of the side streets, and it was an entire fucking village of these. They looked like fucking doll houses.
Damn.
Right. It was really, really neat and completely unexpected. So we spent a lot of time kind of exploring that, and we ended up not getting on the bus. We got on the ferry because I went to fly the drone. All right. First of all, don't expect around Oak Bluffs, there's no real beach. You're on the harbor side, and it's not a very beachy area. It's they're not really prepared to
more
have
like
people.
Cliffs and just kind of.
Well, not even cliffs. It's just I don't know, whatever. Google it. So we were kind of hanging out on the beach and figuring out our next move. And I'm like, you know what? Before we go and have dinner or whatever, I want to fly the drone, because I brought the drone over. It was legal to fly there in that area. So I'm like, yeah, let me fly the drone. Go to fly it. Fuck, it's 35-mile-an-hour winds.
Ooh.
Right. So I'm like, and the drone software is like, do you really want to do this? It's kind of windy where you're at. They're do you acknowledge the fact that this is a stupid idea? Of course I acknowledge that fact.
No.
So I go and fly the drone, and I get it I don't know, 30 feet in the air, and it starts drifting out over the water. I'm like, this is a bad idea. So I had all of 3 minutes of flight time. And then as I was doing that, I kind of look over and I see this system of you can see there's a storm coming. Mm-hmm. And from our days of flying, and I've always been kind of into the weather bit.
Oh yeah.
And I'm looking at it going you know what? Why don't we have dinner on the, take the ferry, get to the other side, get to the car. That way we're not fucking trying to mess around with all the shit in the rain. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. So we got on the next ferry, went back. Sure shit, the fucking thunderstorm came in. Perfect. We timed it perfectly.
Yeah. Which
which was excellent because we had a 50-50 shot. We were going whale watching, right? We were either going on Tuesday or Wednesday, right? So Tuesday was the shittier weather, the real windy, real choppy. Wednesday, fucking perfect. Perfect day.
Yeah.
Got out on this whale watching boat. It was fucking great. 4 hours though. It's 4 hours out on a boat.
God damn.
But we saw whales. It was really fucking cool. It was cooler than I thought it was going to be because I was kind of poo-pooing it. It was something that Kathy really wanted to do, so that's why we did it.
Yeah.
And it was neat. It was neat. So did the ferry consent? It's because I'm saying it like that, ferry instead of ferry, whatever. So yeah, then we got home. I did all right, 4 hours on boat, right?
Mhm.
Woke up early, got on the boat for 4 hours, went from boat to car, drive in car for 7 hours to get home, got out of car, went into the house, like got a shower to get ready to go to bed. And when I got out of the shower, it suddenly hit me like I was on a boat.
Oh no!
Like all that movement, I was like,
got the land
whoa!
sickness.
So
yeah.
I was like, wow, that took a long time for that to hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird how that happens though.
Yeah, I was fucked up. So yeah, that was getting back, and then we the next day I had a rendezvous with Swede and Lunar Girl and Dragon Buddy.
Yeah.
We went and saw Seven Dust on Thursday. Look, I'm not a crowd guy, right? We know this.
Yeah, right? I'm kind of shocked, honestly, when I saw, because I forgot you were going to do that. Yeah. Then when I saw like those first posts from that, I'm like, oh fuck, his anxiety must be through the roof right now.
Yeah. So I'd never been to the place. It was in Bethlehem, a place called the Steel Sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Steel Sacks. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Cod pieces and steel sacks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called the Steel Stacks, and in my mind, I had you've been to a concert in Camden, right? On the riverfront there.
No.
It has a big lawn area, and then like it has a seating area and then there's a stage. So like the seating area has a cover, and then there's a big lawn area.
Mm.
So I was picturing that.
Right.
You know, it's something big. Swede had purchased the tickets and invited us to go along. Thank you, sir. And I was expecting, like, it was COVID pricing, right? So you're buying basically this little plot, and you could, however many people you brought, you just had your own little area.
And then you're away from the rest of the people.
Right. So I'm like, yeah, that would probably work out okay. So got there early, and they had moved it inside because there was thunderstorms blowing through. So when I got there, we walked to the area. Now, they said they moved the entire thing indoors, right? No, like, hey, you might not be able to get in. And they're like, no. We just went inside. Like, okay, well, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And we walked by the lawn area, and it was fucking tiny. It was a small, like, Jason, I'm not lying. From your yard over to like probably just be like halfway past your garage is how big it was.
Wow.
Like, and that deep. And there was a stage. Awesome backdrop with the fucking stacks. Like, it's a Bethlehem steel facility.
Sure.
That had been there from fucking 19th century. And it had closed in like 2007. So that was the backdrop.
Right.
So if you were outside, that would have been a backdrop. Well, we went inside, and it's basically the same backdrop. They had these huge glass windows, and you had the stage and like as much space as was outside was inside.
Right.
So we go in, and we get our little fucking wristbands, like we're, like kids again going into fucking see a show. And they had a balcony area, right? So you had the floor area, then there was like a balcony kind of coming over, and it had like tables and chairs up there. So I said to Lunar Girl, I was like, well, it's like, you have, girl power. How about you go over and see what it'll take to get up on the balcony? And Lunar Girl, being a good sport, she's like, okay. So she goes over there, and honestly, we're standing there. There just was not that many people. Like, you would think.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. When I saw the pictures from this, I'm like, was this in a gymnasium or something? It looked small.
Yeah, it was small, and there wasn't many people in there.
Yeah.
So it was already kind of it gave you kind of an idea of the scope and scale. It's like, okay, we sold the COVID tickets, so there's already fewer people. Mm-hmm. Now we're bringing that few amount of people into a venue that probably held 3 times as many people were in it.
Right.
So it was really, really well spaced out. So, and we're enjoying ourselves. It's like the stage is right here. I mean, it was so close. So even if we had stayed on the floor, it would have been fine. Lunar comes over. She's just like, all right, let's go. We're like, what? She's like, yeah, let's go. Come on. You got us up there. All right. So we swapped out wristbands, and we had these fucking balcony seats. We're like right on the fucking, like right there. It was right there. And the stage was, 20 feet away.
Nice.
So we got to see the show from up there, courtesy of Lunar Girl, going up there and getting us our the power. I would say, like, look, you have the power of the vagina. Like that works. It works when you want to get shit like that, right? Guys can't do shit like that. We can't go over like, hey, baby, I'd really like to get up on the balcony.
I know, it would be really nice if we could go onto the balcony and
no, creep, get out, get him out of here. It's fucking obviously it's on some Megan's Law list. So we got up there, and it was Seven Dust is really, really good, and I'd wanted to see him live, and this was a great way to see it because their live show is fantastic. And oh yeah, by the way, tables and chairs where we were at, our own bar. And the cleanest bathroom I'd ever been in a concert.
Really?
By far. Like, not even close. I mean, I've been in box seats at, like, Sixers games that had its own bathroom that wasn't as clean as the bathroom that we went in.
Damn.
For this show. It was amazing. It was fucking, it's just a great experience. So, yeah, that was that day. Driving home that night was sporty because it was fucking pouring. So the 2-hour drive back from Bethlehem was slow. It was slow going because the roads were absolute garbage, but it was a good time. And then I spent really the rest of the weekend trying to recover. We had a graduation party on Saturday, and yeah, that was pretty much it. It was a lot packed into 1 week. It was too short.
I just got to say, I'm a little pissed off.
Yeah.
Because now both you and the Escape Pod guys have met Dragon Buddy and Lunar Girl in person, and I still have not.
Oh,
which
sounds like a personal problem.
I know. It's fucking bullshit.
Well, I know. Austin's wedding. What? Yeah, we'll have to remedy that. In fact, talking about the Red 5 network, kind of circling back a little bit before we get into our main topic, the Red 5 network, they just did this Scarif Con, and they had Dominic Pace. The Escape Pod guys did an interview with him.
The dude that was a bounty hunter in Mandalorian?
Yeah, Gecko, the bounty hunter. Gecko, right? Gecko? Chat, help me. Yeah, he's going to be in the area. Like, he's actually going to be in Blackwood in a few weeks.
Oh, sweet.
So I think we might have to go over there. I think you know what the comic store it is. That's over there.
Do you remember the name of it?
Yeah, we can go to. We can find out.
We'll roll that tape and we'll figure that out.
But yeah, look, he's guy's in fucking Star Wars, so you have to take this opportunity to. And he's been on the other shows. Like the Escape Pod guys got to see him first, so now it's our turn. Yeah, it's our turn. We go have.
We're getting a lot of the Escape Pod sloppy seconds lately, which whatever. All right, are you done?
Yes.
Are we ready to get into our main topic?
Yes.
All right. Do you need a break before we?
I'm okay.
All right. So
I'll probably have to break right in the middle of it.
Yeah, same here. So let's roll into it. Yeah, we're talking about the music of 1990. And I kind of alluded to in the beginning where we were in our lives in 1990. So let's kind of talk about that first. Like you mentioned, that was pretty much freshman year of high school for you, right?
Yeah.
That was end of 8th grade into high school, where for me, I was a year behind you. So it was 7th grade into 8th grade was 1990 for me.
Right.
But I mean, for me, that was a lot of dances, a lot of middle school dances, because I went to all of them back then. Because, this was when I was first starting to notice, like, oh, I like the female species and I want to be close to them and the opportunity to dance with them and everything else, which we didn't really do, but every once in a while.
Classic 90s dancing was like
with the arms out
and dudes on one side of the room, girls on the other.
Oh yeah.
Basically they're hanging with your friends, listen to music.
Yeah. So, but yeah, for 1990 for me, it was middle school. It was 7th grade into 8th grade was 90. And for you, it was 8th into freshman year.
It's funny you talk about the dances. The only dance I went to in middle school was the 8th grade dance.
Really?
That was it. I was not at one. I was super, super geeky kid.
Oh, so was I, but
so the problem with I had a couple of friends that were as nerdy and geeky. So like those were the people that I gravitated towards if I went to a big like public event like that. But I was not interested in the show, as it were. of getting ready for the dance and doing all the shit. Because you see it going all. It was just not my thing.
Right.
It's just not my thing.
Yeah, no, for me, it was, we were always trying to converse and interact with the females. And I know there was my big clique of friends, and then we had this clique of female friends that we kind of aligned with. And then when it came to the dances, like, oh, this is our chance to actually, like, hey, you want to dance and do all this. But as I'm looking through this list of music from that time, that's all I can think about is a lot of the fucking dances and a lot of these songs being played at those fucking dances. So as we talk about a lot of these, that's sort of where my mind goes.
And look, one dance, the 8th grade dance, that's really some of my exposure to more like trendy, poppier music. Because as you see from when we get to my list, like it's not the common list based on what's the top Billboard 100, because of where I was that year.
Yeah.
Because I was getting my music basically from cassette tapes and listening to heavy metal in somebody's fucking basement.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a good point to emphasize. This was pre-CD. I didn't get my first CD player until I think it was winter of 91.
Okay.
So, because that was like my big birthday present that year, was my own CD player. So up to this point, and especially throughout all of 1990, it was all about the cassette tapes still.
Right.
So we were at the peak of the cassette tape era.
Well, shit, even when I graduated in 94, I still was tape centric.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it was, throughout most of the early to mid 90s, it was all about a balance between CDs and cassettes, because, what you could do is you could, like, if you had the right setup, you could record a fucking CD onto a cassette and all that. And, you still had the ability to record from like the radio, because we still used to do that.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day too. You'd be sitting listening to your favorite radio station, waiting for that fucking song to come on that you wanted. And then, oh, and there it is.
Click.
Yeah.
Yep.
You click record, and oh, dude, I had one of the artists that we're going to talk about today, Mr. Vanilla Ice. There was a song of his, not Ice Ice Baby, but a later song of his. I can distinctly remember I wanted to get a recording of. So I'm listening to a fucking radio station until it fucking came on, and boom, I hit record. And then, of course, the DJ had to pipe in towards the end of the song, like within the last 15 seconds of the song, because that's what the DJs did. I still had to record it because I needed the rest of the song. So for years, even after I like moved over to CDs and everything, when I would listen to that Vanilla Ice song, when it would get to that point about 15 seconds at the end, I'm waiting to hear that DJ piping in, because that's what I listened to over and over again.
Yeah.
So
that's fucking great. Who was it? Who was the DJ?
Oh God, I can't remember. It was whatever the local pop station was.
I'm surprised you can't do it verbatim right now.
No, it's been a long time. Well, because he chimed in like towards the end of the song. He goes, and that was Vanilla Ice with the whatever. But like he chimed in with like some sort of a like basically, and it sounded like that too.
All right.
Anyway,
that's a choice.
So something else that was big this year was I think they had come out earlier than this, but the first time I ever bought a cassette single was in 1990.
Okay.
Because if you remember, for the most part, it was all about buying the albums, right? You heard a song you liked or whatever, you had to go buy the whole fucking album, like all 10, 12 songs or whatever. Then they started coming out with cassette singles. They used to have singles on record, but they didn't have cassette singles. At least they weren't
45s that you get and have a single on it.
Yeah. So they started doing that with cassettes, and I distinctly remember, because it's my number one song when we get to our list. My number one song was the first cassette single I ever bought.
No shit.
Back in 1990.
Okay.
So if that tells you anything,
we need to have guesses in the chat as to what that is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you want to guess, I guarantee you nobody in the chat's going to pick my number two. Like it's going to, because it wasn't released as a single. It was just a song on an album that was released in 1990.
Okay.
And then I doubt anybody in the chat will even get my number one, honestly. But even though I have alluded to it in the past, I don't think anybody's going to get it.
The gauntlet is thrown down, folks. Yeah, come on.
Let's I will, I will sing your props if anybody guesses it correctly. Kristen, you don't count. Though I don't think even she knows. So
Again, challenge accepted.
yeah. No, and if she
I'm
gets
not gonna waste any bandwidth trying to guess because I tried that the last time and failed miserably.
So the first thing that I wanted to talk about when we get into the music of 90 is talk about some of the notable debuts, like some people who released their debut album in 1990.
Right.
To kind of get the conversation started. And the number one that I have on here is the person who ended up being the highest selling artist of the entire 1990s, and that's Mariah Carey. Her debut album came out in 90. It was towards the end, I think, like fall time of 90.
Okay.
And her self-titled debut album came out in 1990, and I remember this time very well. Again, a lot of those songs that get played at the dances, right? Because I think it was Vision of Love was her first single, but it was like Love Takes Time is the song that really propelled her into fucking stardom.
Okay.
You don't remember any of this?
It's probably one of those where if I heard the song, I'd be like, oh yeah, I've heard that.
Right.
But I don't have recall memory of Mariah Carey songs, unfortunately. Oh my God, why am I yawning?
So, and here's the deal with Mariah Carey. Like, I was madly in love with her, and I was a huge Mariah Carey fan until probably like 98 or 99, whenever she like decided she wanted to be a rapper and stop singing the more ballady songs and everything else. Like, yeah,
she was a rapper.
She tried to be towards the late 90s. She tried to get into like the whole hip hop thing. It was terrible. And I kind of stopped listening to her after that. But for like the first like 7 years of her career, huge Mariah Carey fan, to the point where I had a framed Mariah Carey poster on my wall in my room throughout all of high school.
Yeah, and we talked about this Mariah Carey poster before.
Yeah.
When Jason closes his eyes.
Yeah, no, I was madly in love with Mariah. And this is the thing about her,
First name basis now.
Yeah. So throughout the 90s, through all of the musical shifts that we had, be it the cheesy pop and everything else in 1990, as we get into the rock and heavy metal resurgence in the early 90s, and then the grunge and all of that, through all of these shifting musical eras in the 90s, Mariah Carey was a constant.
Time out. Clicking.
All right, I reset it once, but hopefully this works.
Yeah, I had a Cindy Crawford poster as well, Big Lovin'.
Oh yeah. So anyway, she was a constant throughout the 90s, and like I said, she was the greatest selling artist of the 1990s. Like, total album sales, Mariah Carey sold more albums in the 90s than anybody else. Like, without question, it was like not even close. It was a landslide victory. So anyway, the first notable debut in 1990 with Mariah Carey. The next one,
the most notable one for you, for sure.
Yeah. And now probably the most infamous, if you ask most music fans or anybody who's alive today, Vanilla Ice, and To the Extreme debuted in 1990. So, I mean, we can't talk about the music of this year and not talk about Vanilla Ice and Ice Ice Baby and everything that came along with that.
Boom, 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 boom.
You've got to have an opinion on this.
All right, so listen, Vanilla Ice was a personification of so much of what was the early 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, the haircut.
The lines.
The lines, which I think is
which I may or may not have gotten myself at one point.
Really?
Around that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I would have never been allowed to have that type of haircut. Like, I was very conservative, like haircutting.
Mm-hmm. You were, or your parents were?
More my grandparents.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and it would have been like that type of haircut. And nope. World War II vet was not allowing such shenanigans.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the hair with the fucking the frosting. The fucking hair, and just the 5.0 Mustangs, like
the parachute pants.
Yeah, putting a 5.0 on the map. Parachute pants. Z Cavaricis.
Oh yeah,
Z Cavaricis.
I may or may not have owned several pair of those as well.
I never had one. I don't think I had a pair of pants that was more expensive than $20. I mean, it's just like, no, that was not a thing that was going to happen.
I mean, how can you argue with the label that goes right down the crotch? You know?
Yeah. My wife had a pair. It was like
word.
Word.
Well, weren't their Cavaricci labels like on their ass?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
I
they
was,
were.
I was not paying attention. All I knew about Z Cavaricci's is that they existed, and I didn't have a pair. So
Right.
I was trying to think if in the 90s I was rolling my pants yet. Remember that you would
No, that was
roll
80s. That was some 80s shit is what that was.
Yeah, I might have been doing that in the 90s too.
Okay.
I mean, that's maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vanilla Ice, it was. We'll talk about Vanilla Ice more when we get into our top 5. I'm not saying it's in my top 5. I'm just saying.
Okay. All right.
That you can't talk about this era without talking about Vanilla Ice for sure.
So another notable debut, Wilson Phillips.
Right.
And I mean, they weren't really on my radar in 90 with this debut album. You had the singles Hold On, Release Me.
Mm-hmm.
Not my cup of tea at the time.
Right.
But their second album, which is very what?
Somebody just walked by?
I don't know. Maybe we're being spied on. But anyway, the Wilson Phillips second album is actually pretty high on my radar. That came out in like 93, 94 time frame. But yeah, this debut album didn't do a whole lot for me. But again, pretty notable. They were the daughters of a bunch of famous people. So
yeah, Brian Wilson's daughter is Wilson of the Wilson Phillips. I actually saw Wilson Phillips in concert.
No shit.
In 1992, my first ever concert that I can remember anyway
Mm-hmm.
was the Beach Boys on the beach in Wildwood, New Jersey.
Really?
And it was summer '92, and Wilson Phillips was the opening act for the Beach Boys. That was a great day. It was one of those days as a kid that kind of like, this is a monument marker day.
Sure.
Because it was down there with all the campground friends. Like we talked about before, like Summer Dave and in the campground was a completely different human being.
Mm-hmm.
So I was down there with all the campground friends and just enjoying the music. And Mike Love actually fucking talked to us from the side stage, and there was fire engines hosing down a crowd because it was fucking July and it was hot as balls. It was just a great day. But yeah, Wilson Phillips opened for the Beach Boys that day.
Okay.
Makes sense, right?
Well, so all right, can I tell a concert story too, since we're doing
absolutely.
that? So going back to Vanilla Ice.
Oh.
I saw Vanilla Ice in the fall. Yeah, it was the fall of 1990. So Ice Ice Baby had just come out like not that long before. And he had a concert in Bakersfield. His opener was this band that had yet to release their debut album, but it was going to debut like within another month. A little group called the CNC Music Factory.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So I saw
that makes sense.
I saw CNC Music Factory opening up for Vanilla Ice in Bakersfield, like right after Ice Ice Baby came out.
What were they like live?
It was all like lip synced. It was all just the tracks playing and they were fucking lip syncing.
I mean, lip syncing was part of the time.
Yeah, because they were dancing and doing their whole routine. So, but yeah, no, it was I think the song "Gonna Make You Sweat" was out. Like I think it had just been released as a single, but they hadn't released their full album. If you remember, they later came out with a song called "Things That Make You Go Hmm."
Mm-hmm.
They played that. And we're listening to it because I'm there with my friend, and we're like, "Oh fuck, that's the thing that Arsenio does on his show, right?"
Right.
Things that make you go,
Right.
And then they adapted it into a song.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah, no, we're going back, man. We're going way back. But yeah, so I saw Vanilla Ice in concert with CNC Music Factory opening up for him. So anyway, I digress. Other notable debuts, In Vogue. They were sort of like I was never a huge fan of them, but I always appreciated their vocal stylings. They were all about the harmonizing and just the good voices. And as they released more and more albums throughout the 90s, that became more apparent that they were very, very talented singers as a group. And then they had their sort of inner struggles, and some girls left the group and blah, blah, blah. But they were super talented, had a couple of really catchy songs. I don't recall liking their debut album as much, but again, you can't disregard their talent.
Right. And according to Wikipedia, they're still touring today.
Right. I don't know how many of the original members are still in the group,
I
but
don't either.
Though I guess, none of them really went off to massive singles careers. So maybe it is all the originals again.
It wasn't like a Salt and Pepper or what was the Beyonce's group before?
Oh, Destiny's Child.
There you go, Destiny's Child.
Yeah. So anyway, the last one that I had was Digital Underground, which we talked about in the This or That.
Yep.
Which again, Humpty Dance and all that stuff, but it was also the yes, exactly, the jump start for Tupac and his career. That's where he got his start, and then obviously he had his big claim to fame, and then took a bullet, and then he became a legend.
Wah, wah, wah.
So, but that was what I had for notable debuts in 1990. Something else I wanted to talk about before we get into the rest of the music of 1990 was some spillover from 1989, because this is something in today's entertainment, like it's not just music, but in fucking movies and everything else, everything happens so fast. Everything churns out so fast. You fucking forget what happened 5 minutes ago, where that wasn't the case back in the day. Take, for instance, Star Wars, right?
Right.
Fucking the original Star Wars had a theatrical run of like 2 years, whereas today movies stay in theaters for 2 months at the most.
Yeah, they don't. They stay in just long enough to be like, okay, we're at the break-even point. Let's fucking cut it off before we start.
Right.
Losing money on the DVD sale or the digital fucking download. Yeah,
exactly. And back then, like especially back in the 80s and 90s, music was kind of that same way, where an album would stay kind of in the public eye for months or years after it debuted, because you'd get new singles released and then they would catch on and everything else. So there was a lot of songs and a lot of singles that like topped the charts in 1990 that had actually been released in 1989. And I wanted to throw out some examples here, because we made a rule when we did our top 5 lists that we would not do anything released before 90.
Yes.
It'd have to be released in 1990.
Correct.
So, but if you look at the top songs of 1990, if you go to like Billboard's top songs, a lot of these came from albums that were released in 89 or in some cases 88. And I'll give you some examples. Aerosmith's Pump is one that was released in 1990, but a lot of the songs were big in 89. A lot of the songs were big in 90. Janie's Got a Gun.
Yeah.
Huge example of that, because that song was fucking huge, especially in 90 after the music video debuted.
Right.
And we're going to talk about the whole music video aspect of a lot of this later, and the whole MTV portion. So Aerosmith's Pump, even though it was released in 89, had a huge impact on the music scene in 90. Same with Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever. Biggest example of that being Free Fallin'.
Right.
Which, to be fair, if we were allowing stuff from 89 to be in our top 5s, that would have been my number 2.
Yeah,
like,
Free Fallin',
easily.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah, Faith No More is The Real Thing. I don't know how big you were into Faith No More, but their debut song Epic. Well, actually, it wasn't their debut. The first one that had any mainstream success.
Right.
That was released.
I like that song.
Yeah, that was released in 89, but was big in 90 when they, the music video and everything came out. Paula Abdul, her debut album Forever Your Girl came out in 88, but it was the top-selling album in 1990 for 9 weeks. Through February and March of 1990.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because whoa.
Boom.
Wow. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that was a huge clap of thunder. But no, Paula Abdul, like she was releasing singles from Forever Your Girl for 2 years. And I think it was like Opposites Attract or something was the last big single that forward, right. And anybody who was alive at that time could fucking quote that. Right. But yeah, like Forever Your Girl was the top seller in 1990 for 2 months, and it had been released in 88. So that's another example of how song or albums from previous years can spill over and have success in subsequent years.
Well, like you said, it was a slow drip for a lot of that.
Right. Yeah. This shit wasn't churned out as fast as it is today.
You released a single, and that single stayed out there for a little bit and gained traction. You heard it on the radio for a little while.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, this is the single for this album that could be fucking a year later. So yeah, it was a different time.
It was. And then Phil Collins, But Seriously, also an album released in 89, but it topped the charts a couple of weeks in 90 and had a couple of singles in 90 that were pretty big.
I forgot how big Phil Collins was
in
those days.
And as we've been doing a lot of these music episodes, like in our 80s and then into getting into the 90s, like he's got a huge presence in a lot of these.
Yeah.
So before we move on, I think this would be a very good time
Yes.
to take a break.
Yeah, before fucking hellfire
Yeah.
rains down on us.
And again, if our transmission goes dark unexpectedly, it's because of these fucking storms in the area. So
stand by. We'll be back.
Yeah. Hopefully, if the power comes back.
Which better. God damn it.
But anyway, we're going to take a very quick break and be right back after this word from our sponsors.
Who are our sponsors?
The Red 5 Network, right?
They're not sponsoring us. We're just on the Red 5 Network.
Oh.
Which, oh, by the way, we're on the Red 5 Network. If you're just joining us, we're part of the Red 5 Network now. When are we gonna show up on their website? I have no idea. Like literally, the shit was getting worked out 10 minutes before we went on the air. So it is definitely in flux. But yeah. I'm going to take this opportunity right now to say that any mention of November Kilo Oscar Tango Bravo will not be tolerated on this program. I'm just saying. It just can't happen. For one, it had zero impact on my life at all, other than the fact that it existed out there. Zero impact. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Nope, not going to do it. You are welcome, guys. And yeah, woohoo! Here he is. As soon as you said that you had to pee, then I suddenly had to pee.
Yeah. All right. Let's pour another shot. Oh, fuck. I forgot to talk about Fireball. All right. We'll do it when we come back from the break. Drip, 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 drip. Scott, I don't know if you're in the chat, but drinking this out of my 49ers shot glass. All right. Let's try to get caught up on the chat. I have not been looking at all. Holy hell. I hate that Christmas song. What Christmas song? Jason's not going to like this, but I don't like... Yo, Luna Girl doesn't like Mariah Carey? Come on, man. Who hates...
Doesn't like Screaming Banshees?
People only know Mariah Carey as the goddamn Christmas song. Oh, people are talking shit about Mariah Carey all over in the... Whatever.
It's not a... I mean, it's a good Christmas song.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That became her thing, but she was, pretty important before that.
According to your poster on the wall.
Oh yeah. Nah, dude. Like I was all in. I had every one of her albums. I had this VHS cassette tape that was like a behind the scenes of recording of her first album, and
really
it had all of her music videos on it. Like I was all in.
You were fully committed.
Yes.
I am impressed.
All right, let me pour this. I already poured myself another shot, which I'll take as soon as we're back.
Why?
Because it's good. Which, by the way, I forgot to talk about.
Yes.
So we'll get into it.
Yeah, just bring it up because then I can talk about this deliciousness that Chad gave me. Countdown. Ready, set.
And we're back.
I just got the notification just now that said we're live.
Oh, good. Glad they're on it. Thanks, YouTube. So before we get back into our music of the 90s, something I forgot to talk about was this the Fireball that I did the shot of at the beginning of the show, which, by the way, cheers. So I had Fireball in California over the 4th of July weekend. One of my mom's friends was there staying with her, and she kept like coaxing me into doing shots of Fireball. I'd never had it before in my life.
Right.
I know somebody mentioned that it was like a drink from the 90s. Never had it before. And, you know, I've sampled quite a bit of alcohol in my days, and Fireball was never one of them. It tastes like have you had it before?
Yeah.
It tastes like one of the fucking Fireball hard candies that you would get. And it's really good. Like after I had it that weekend over the 4th, I'm like, ooh, I like this.
Yeah, I remember like the craze was coming, and I had it in a bar in Phoenix. As a matter of fact, we were on the TDY, and there was a shot girl walking around or something with it, and I was like, yeah, okay, I've had this before, because it's like, remember, have you ever had Aftershock?
Yeah. Oh, that's going back.
Yeah, it reminded me of that. I was like, okay, I don't need to be peeing in the streets.
It's like college.
Oh, God, it's just so bad for you. So,
yeah.
No, speaking of alcohol, I don't think I mentioned it live, but I've got this lovely bottle called the Dalmore, aged 12 years.
It's a bourbon, right?
No, it's a whiskey. It's a Scotch whiskey. It's delicious. I'm not gonna lie. You know, whiskeys can be hit or miss. You know, I'm a bourbon guy. This is delicious, and it needs to get further away from me.
It smelled really good when we cracked the seal on that thing, and I smelled it. I'm like, ooh, I could probably drink the shit straight.
Yep.
But I had my own,
or on the rocks.
Yes.
Again, thank you, Chad.
Yep. So, all right, moving back into the music of the 90s, something that I pulled up was the music videos from 1990, because for me, now we've talked about this a lot in the past, but where I got my exposure, or most of my exposure to music, was through the music videos, through MTV. So between that and like one local radio station, sorry, my balls are. Anyway,
I hope you all can see this live on YouTube.
I don't know what's up with these underwear today, but anyway, yeah, where I got most of my exposure to music was through MTV. So I figured I'd pull up the MTV Video Music Awards for 1990, and we could talk about some of these videos. Like, and again, at this point in your history, how much did you actually watch MTV or imbibe music videos?
It really wasn't. It wasn't a thing in our house. It really wasn't. It was a very occasional, like, if I had a moment where I could fucking flip past Nickelodeon, because Nickelodeon on the fucking box, like on the actual fucking click box.
Oh yeah.
It was 33 was Nickelodeon locally here, Garden State Cable, and then 35 was MTV. So I could click over and see a little bit of MTV, but for the most part, it just like we had one main TV in the house. I had a TV up in my bedroom, but it just wasn't a thing. It wasn't an opportunity to be able to.
At this point, my family was. I had a TV of my own, and my family was savvy enough to be able to split cable and split it into my room. So I had access to MTV pretty early on. Let's just jump right into video of the year. So this blows my mind that Sinead O'Connor's "Nothing Compares to You" was the video of the year at the MTV Awards. Do you remember this music video?
Oh, yeah.
All it is, it's just her face.
Yeah.
Like the whole time. Her fucking bald Irish. Fuck the Irish. God. Fucking Irish can't do anything right. They're the worst. Anyway, her fucking bald Irish fucking head just singing to the camera for the entire video. Like nothing else is going on. It's an all right song. I mean, it was written by Prince, so he can never do any wrong. But I mean, it was fairly boring, especially coming from her. And the fact that one video of the year blows my fucking mind. Like,
well, it was on constantly.
Oh yeah. And I never liked it. Like, I never liked it back in the day.
Oh my god. Dalmore is making me sleepy. It's not it was on so much that I can hear the song plain as day in my head
Oh, yeah.
because of the music video.
Mhm.
The little bit of time that I did get to spend watching MTV, I guarantee you almost every single time that fucking video was on.
Yeah.
In fact, recently, I don't know where was I? What was I doing? I think I was on my phone taking a shit or something. And I was, going through Star Wars news, and I came across this article about Sinead O'Connor, 30 years later or whatever.
Right.
And she looks like, she looks like an old Irish lady.
Yeah,
I mean,
with no hair. She still shaves her fucking head.
Still shave her head. And it's a whole activism thing. I mean, that's what the movement of what was going on. Like I don't think that we were old enough to really get it. But why did Janie's Got a Gun not get #1 video? Because it was erection-inducing fucking male-dominated video, obviously.
Okay, well, we'll get into that. But the whole thing too with Sinead O'Connor ripping up the picture of the Pope, like I was oblivious to all of that. Like I'm like, why do people care? Like who is this fucking Pope guy anyway? Because we were all fucking Protestants,
right,
over in Bakersfield, California. Like the whole Catholic Church structure and everything else, I was completely oblivious to. So when like this massive outpour happens when she fucking rips up the picture of the Pope on SNL, I'm like, I don't understand. Why are people so mad about this?
Jason, have you heard of this little thing called the Troubles?
Mm-mm.
Okay, then it'll be lost on you.
Right.
But there's like a thing over in Ireland about between the Irish Protestants and Catholics. It's a thing. Like, so
again, you're saying the Irish are fucked, and honestly, they should not exist.
Fuck you and your angst for the
You're
Irish.
Goddamn Irish with your fucking accents. I can't understand you. Go back to your country.
Hang on a second. I got something for this.
Christ.
There it is. Stick your face in there. Stick it. Come on.
I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
That's twice now he's pulled a knife on me on the show.
At least twice,
yeah.
Maybe more. And you deserve it this time for sure. No,
the Irish deserve it.
The Troubles, it's more of a fucking British problem. The British are the problem. You should be saying fuck the British more so than the Irish.
Well, I mean, we did just pass the 4th, so fuck the British. America. Fuck yeah. Anyway, not to dwell on that too much. So some of the other nominees for Video of the Year, you touched on it. Aerosmith's Janie's Got a Gun.
Right.
I don't know how much you actually remember of this music video, but
I just remember
it's very powerful, but not in this erection-inducing way. Or if it is, then you might need to go see some professional help.
I see professional help.
Okay, well, you might need to bring this up because there's some disturbing fucking imagery in this video because the subject is about basically a fucking father who rapes his fucking daughter over the years, and she finally gets tired of it and fucking kills his ass.
I may or may not have been thinking about a different video.
Okay, yeah, because I mean there are a lot of Aerosmith videos that do get a guy excited, but this is not one of them, or it shouldn't be one of them. And if it is, then you need some fucking help.
I'm getting help, don't worry.
No, but honestly, to touch on a subject like this in fucking 1990, where we weren't real open about things like this.
No,
back in the day, they're touching on a subject about fucking like child rape.
This was a time when you weren't open about anything.
Yeah,
like homosexuality, like that's why
that was still kind of taboo at the time.
The Sinead O'Connor thing with the Pope and all that, like huge, like unimaginable fucking repercussions doing something like this on live television, like because everything was so filtered, like through this censoring whatever apparatus, that and because it's all these fucking for lack of a better term, fucking boomers that were controlling the fucking TV stations and everything. So like they didn't want to. They looked at things like, look, this is the 1950s. Like things, you don't say things in public. You don't say things about your fucking family. You certainly don't acknowledge any of your family's problems in public.
Yeah, you don't belittle other religions. And
this is which, well, it depends on what fucking neighborhood you're living in.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, it's just even in the 90s, even in the early 90s, we were still in this. The media was not an open policy like this.
Yeah.
Like, and people think that they're fucking, well, I don't even want to get into that with how the media is now, but like you can advocate for anything in the media and via social media now. You didn't have that in the 90s. You had fucking music videos to do that shit.
And this is where the envelope was being pushed, was in a lot of these music videos, which, you know, you would think Aerosmith, you know, these fun-loving guys, you know, having a lot of girls in these videos and all that.
Loving an elevator.
Yeah, exactly. You know, to kind of shift gears and go into this kind of a subject that's just super fucking serious. And again, involving guns, which is a huge taboo today, where you basically see a scene of the girl fucking pulling the gun and fucking killing homie. But no, very, very serious subject. Great song, great video. You know, if you can handle the seriousness of the tone and everything and what they were going for. But to me, looking at this list, like that's the video of the year. Like looking back on it. Otherwise, you've got Madonna's Vogue, which everybody was fucking crazy about back then. Like Vogue, I don't know. It's Madonna, you know, she was pretty big up to this point. She was pretty big throughout the 80s. And then Vogue was kind of like her, I don't even know, like almost coming of age type of thing.
I don't know. What age was she coming to?
Well, that's pretty much, I'm sure she'd come to any age, you know,
maybe
back then, but
she's probably with Dennis Rodman back in those days.
Was this during the Rodman days? Maybe. This might have still been during the Sean Penn days. We don't know.
Oh God.
But yeah, no, it's like I know a lot of people were crazy for it. I thought the song was kind of boring, and like it did absolutely nothing for me. Like I can see people like with the music video and the style and the black and white and everything else, people kind of being like, oh, that's kind of neat. But as a kid in 1990, I'm like, I don't care about this at all.
Yeah, I think you have an issue with black and white. Sinead O'Connor was in black and white.
Oh, that's true. Oh,
I think we found it. Okay. I think we found the root of Jason's problems. It's in black and white. It's amazing you even got through Clerks.
I know. Well, great fucking movie, by the way. So moving on, you get to the best male video category. There's the Don Henley End of Innocence. Like every Don Henley music video was boring. His songs were great. I mentioned before when we were talking about the 80s stuff, the Boys of Summer, fucking love that song. Video, boring as shit. Billy Idol's Cradle of Love. Do you remember that music video? I remember that one very well. Where it was like the hot chick showing up at the dude's like apartment, some dude who's like all bougie and like fucking prim and proper and wearing a suit even when he's in his own house, and you know everything's all clean and everything, and this fucking the chick just fucking walks in and just fucking shit wrecks everything.
Yeah.
But she's like super fucking hot and
like German, very German.
Yeah. Probably not of legal age, but I'm not gonna.
You said German.
Yeah. So no, that video I remember being fucking awesome. We go on to obviously MC Hammer's You Can't Touch This video. We talked about him already. The song You Can't Touch This was fucking huge
just
when it came out.
You Can't Touch This.
Yeah. No, it was it sampled the Rick James Super Freak, first of all.
Can't Touch It.
Which, if you were familiar with Rick James at all,
I'm Rick James, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Down.
Can't Touch This.
So
I know this one.
It was so fucking catchy. It was just so low threat.
And even the video, like it's just, again, we're talking about these parachute pants things. You got to have
like that was his gimmick. Was the pants.
Like fucking going back and forth to these giant fucking pants.
Yeah.
Like honestly, he looked like a flying squirrel. But that was styling. Homeboy was styling at the time, man. And people wanted that look. I mean, Z Cavaricci's had that flare out because I think.
Oh yeah, but they weren't nearly as big as the Hammer.
Obviously
pants.
not. I mean, only MC Hammer could pull off those fucking pants.
Right.
I mean, let's be real.
Oh sure. But yeah, that became like a fashion trend. Like a lot of pants were coming out like in that baggy style, which was
so ridiculous,
fucking hilarious.
God, clothes in the 80s and 90s. What the fuck were we thinking?
Oh, I have no idea, but it was beautiful, and I would love to go back to that. But I digress. Going into some of the other video categories, like best female video, Paula Abdul's Opposites Attract. This is again one of those. You know, she released the album in '88, but the single didn't come out until later, and the music video didn't come out until like end of '89 or early '90, with her and MC Scat Cat.
That's right.
Doing the whole animation, dancing, and all that. Huge fucking song, and pretty catchy video.
Okay, so it popped in my head for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I think we actually talked about this in the 80s episode. Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out in '88, and this basically used the same technology,
right,
to have her dancing with MC Scat Cat.
Right.
Skeet, skeet, skeet.
Some other notable videos. Red Hot Chili Peppers' Higher Ground.
I forgot that the Chili Peppers were this early in the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, Blood Sugar Sex Magic was their big album, which that was 91, 92.
Dude, I fucking...
But yeah, they had one other album and a couple of videos and singles before that.
Yeah, I forget. Well, you're not a fan, right? You're not a huge fan of
Chili Peppers? Back and forth. Like, I mean, I was all about Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Right.
Like, I own the album. I probably know every fucking song on that album, word for word. I remember all the videos. Pretty much immediately after that, they did nothing for me.
Is it bad that Breaking the Girl is like my favorite song off that album?
No, that was a good song.
All right. Yeah. I'm just making sure. Kind of coinciding with the issues with me earlier. Just making sure.
Yeah, no, that was a good song. I do remember that.
Probably my all-time favorite Chili Pepper song, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm just looking through the rest of the music videos.
Oh, no, so you can't
What?
Nope.
What?
Best group video.
Hold on.
You can't scroll past best group video. B-52 is the Love Shack. Come on, man. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy.
I hated the B-52.
I want to know why. Why do you hate the B-52?
It's so fucking stupid.
So,
like, the whole group makeup is like they're fucking dumb.
If you see me on the side of the road. Look, getting ready for the show today, I went and Googled the what the hell is it called? I can't think of it. God damn it. No!
B-52?
No, this is music or whatever, right? What the hell is it?
Now that's what I call music or whatever.
Yeah, whatever that is. Right? And basically they put out an album that's every year that's of like, okay, here's what's popular in the 90s.
Yeah.
Now that's what I call music. Yeah.
That's what I just said.
Anyway, so I Googled that for 1990 just because I wanted to have like a larger frame of reference than just the stuff that I was listening to. And B-52's Love Shack was on that album. So when I was building my Spotify playlist to include that, I'm like, oh, God, it's a fun song. Like, this song by itself is a fun song. I can't subscribe to all of the work of the B-52s, but this song is fun.
I hated it. I fucking hated it.
Love Shack.
I could not get into it. Like, the guy is fucking goofy as shit. The only good thing about the redhead was she had massive fucking cans. The blonde did nothing for me.
Looking for love, get away.
I hated that song so much.
I want to make sure that it was noted that the best group video on the MTV Music Awards.
Of course it was. Of course it was the B-52's Love Shack. So, all right, moving on. I just want to see if there's anything else of note in the MTV Video Music Awards before we move on. Janet Jackson. So we didn't really talk about her. Like, this was sort of the pinnacle of her solo career. You know, obviously Michael Jackson was fucking huge from early 80s on. Janet Jackson started to like have her own music career.
Right.
A lot of dancing, right? You know, she was big on the choreography, a lot of dance moves, but like at this point in 1990, this was pretty much the peak of her solo career. Unless you count the whole Justin Timberlake, you know, flashing her tit in front of the whole world at the Super Bowl.
That's not a solo career. I mean, obviously.
Right.
It takes two to tango.
Right. And she had the twins helping her out.
Right.
But no, like she was as big as she's ever been during this point in the 90s, you know, with Rhythm Nation and everything else going on. So it would be we'd be remiss to not mention her.
Rhythm Nation it was a good song.
Yeah, like I had no issue with it. It was not like my best or like my most favorite thing at this time, but I certainly didn't dislike it.
When did Escapade come out?
I don't know. Jamie, pull that up.
Now I got Janet Jackson in my head for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
Probably something to do with boobs. Escapade, have a good time. I'm surprised fucking.
Okay, hold on, because I need to look at something. All right. So I'm looking at the best video from a film.
I'm listening.
So first of all, Billy Idol's "Cradle of Love" won that because apparently that song was from the soundtrack to the movie "The Adventures of Ford Fairlane." Do you remember that movie?
I remember it existed. I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, that was the Andrew Dice Clay movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. God, I remember seeing that like one time, and like he was big back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember much noteworthy from that. Some other stuff, some other videos from a movie were Prince's Bat Dance. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah.
And then, of course, ZZ Top's Double Back from the Back to the Future 3 soundtrack.
Jesus.
Gotta double back, my friend. Double back again.
Not ZZ Top's best work, but
no,
okay.
no. So that was interesting.
Yeah. Look, the MTV Music Awards. There's a lot of fucking awards. They really want to jerk everyone off in this thing, and it's the same names over and over and over again.
Yeah.
For people that didn't win, that probably should have.
Yep.
Best choreography was Rhythm Nation, then
Naturally.
Paula Abdul, then Madonna, then MC Hammer, which I don't.
Which that's a travesty.
Like, how can you just?
Yeah, I mean, like the parachute pants alone
Right.
should win those fucking awards. All right. So as I'm looking through some of the top singles of 1990, I noticed something. One thing that I noticed that which immediately like triggered me back to 1990 was a song by Bronco Fett just brought up that Rhythm is a dancer.
Yes.
So just something to remember. The top single of 1990, depending on which chart you look at, was actually the Righteous Brothers' Unchained Melody.
Yes.
Now, you might be asking, like, isn't that a song from like the 60s or something? Yes. Yes, it is.
Yes.
But there was this little movie starring one Patrick Swayze
Yep.
and Demi Moore called Ghost that came out in 1990, which every woman on this fucking planet absolutely loved, especially when it came to the Righteous Brothers' Unchained Melody.
Right.
And the fucking...
It's a shame too, because it's such a good song. Like,
It is.
melodically, it's such a good song.
Oh, yeah.
I was singing it in the fucking car, like,
Yeah.
because it was on the list,
Mhm.
and I was singing it in the car, and it's a poorly, by the way, poorly.
Right.
But it's a good fucking song. But it evokes fucking Ghost.
Right. Because, yeah, it really...
Oh.
The association is fucking 5 minutes of Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore doing a fucking pottery thing together.
I'm gonna get my hands in here and get dirty.
Yeah. But I mean, if you talk about
Need
like,
the love, like they were needing the pottery thing.
I see what you did there.
You see it?
That was good. That was good. Yeah, no, but like apparently this fucking song and that fucking scene from that movie made every woman in America fucking as wet as the fucking Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
You know,
Slowly
it
I
was
turn. Bronco Fett, bold.
Oh no, we're not going to talk about that until we get to our top 5.
Okay.
He's talking about best movie soundtracks in 1990.
All right.
Yeah, put a pin in that. Put a pin in that. And we're talking about the chicks getting wet about fucking the Righteous Brothers and Ghost and Patrick Swayze and all that.
It was a
Like,
good song. I can't knock
It's
anything about the song. It's just
that association.
yeah. It's that fucking movie bullshit that men could never fucking live up to anyway.
Yeah. Oh God. Which, by the way, I think the next series of Chappelle Show that we do is going to address that.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember when he does like
I
the
do.
real life version of movies?
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
In a few weeks.
Yeah. So
we will get to that.
We'll get to it. So the other big revival, which I didn't realize until today as I was doing my research, because again, I'm looking through different lists of the top singles
Right.
of songs from 1990, and I saw the Steve Miller Band, The Joker. I'm like, what? Wasn't that like a song from the fucking 70s? You know, I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker, you know? And I'm like, wait a minute, that's an old fucking song. Why? Apparently, that was used in a Levi's jeans commercial at one point in 1990, which somehow generated all this interest in the song over again. And it was, I don't know, it was like the number 35 single of fucking 1990. I'm like, whoa, that was weird.
Commercials had huge influence.
They did.
Huge influence.
Because again, this was back in the day when we didn't have everything at the fucking tip of our fingers at any moment.
Yeah. If a commercial had a particular jingle or it had a song that you could, remember, that was going to last with you. Like shit, we've sung songs from commercials that we saw in the in the 80s that we still fucking remember.
Well, and this is why when we get into the music of 92 or 93, why Queen has such a big presence.
Yeah.
Because again, we in our generation were exposed to something based on a movie and everything else, and all of a sudden, like, this is like all new to us.
I don't know why it's Wayne's World. I mean, you're obviously talking about Wayne's World. I don't know why you're like, it's a secret.
I'm being so coy.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
No, it's fucking Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Party time.
Yeah. Excellent. So anyway, those were the two songs that I wanted to bring up as far as like big revivals that happened during the 1990. We talked about songs and albums that spilled over from 88 and 89 into 1990. There were also some big albums that spilled over into 1991 from 1990. The two biggest being one that we already talked about, Mariah Carey's self-titled debut album.
Right.
It was actually the top-selling album of 1991, even though it came out in, I think it was like September or October of 1990.
I like how Jason says Mariah Carey self-titled album, top selling album in 1991. It's like you're selling it on a fucking commercial. Like, lest we forget that Mariah Carey's self-titled fucking debut album was the number one in 1991.
I'm just saying that an album that was released this year, the year that we're talking about, was so big and impactful that it spilled over into the next year.
Like Her Booty.
Like Her Booty.
There you go. That's what we're getting to here.
Yeah.
I just like listen back, folks. Listen back to each time.
Oh, I'm all about Mariah Carey.
Mariah
like
Carey's
I have made no bones about the fact that I absolutely love this woman.
Well, then you have to explain why you usurped Mariah Carey with the fucking Spice Girls.
Well, we'll get to that when we get to 1996, but that's a story for another time.
Okay, that's fair. It's a story your wife chose to bring up way back here in the chat, but that's okay.
I just want to tell Kristen that the Spice Girls were in my life before she was, so...
Apparently so was Mariah Carey.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, she's competing with 6 other girls at this point who were in my life before her, so...
Yeah, that's going to go over well. Anyway.
You know who doesn't give a shit? This guy.
You should have another shot.
I know, right?
You're gonna feel like a bag of fucking ass tomorrow.
That's all right. I'm teleworking tomorrow, so it's all good.
Should be. I have one more motherfucker.
The car
sidebar. Yeah, this fucking. If you've ever sold something on Marketplace, you're going to feel
Facebook
my
Marketplace.
Pain. Yeah, I don't like being on Facebook anyway, right? And I hate people. So the idea that I'm selling this fucking car on Marketplace. I'm like, okay, there'll be a handful of fucking bots or some bullshit like that. And I'll have to sift through some whatever. Somebody will fucking, I'll get a phone call or whatever. No, it has been, I'm willing to bet. I scrolled through the list with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to bet that number was in the thousands.
It was a lot
of fucking responses. People just like, is this available? Is this available? Is this available? Is this available? Fuck you. Fuck you. Like, what do you do on Marketplace where you just randomly fucking like, oh, that looks interesting. Is this available? Is this available? Is this available?
Well, to be fair, that's how I start any conversation with somebody I'm trying to buy something.
No, don't do that.
Well, what do you expect me to say?
Like, hi, my name is this. I am this person. I am a real person, and I'm going to have a conversation with you via fucking text. Not
sketchy at all.
It's fucking. It's on Marketplace. It's right there. If it was not available, then where would it be? Off of Marketplace. That's how things. When you sell things, that's how it works.
Well, but you, as the initiator of the Marketplace sale, have to go in and then take it off, and not everybody does that.
is this available? Is this available? Dude, thousands of people choose to fucking do this with sketchy as shit fucking. Oh, they updated their Facebook profile picture fucking 14 years ago. Like, no.
I don't know.
Fuck you.
If I'm trying to sell something on Facebook Marketplace and somebody's like, "Hello, my name is Bill Smith. I am not a bot. I am trying to buy your thing." And by the way, not a trap. Not, this is not a scam whatsoever.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
Dude, I had somebody fucking send a picture of a pile of money. They sent me a picture of money. So what are you proving? Like, oh, here's a pile. Like, I can Google fucking pile of money too. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. I'm so I hate fucking people. Anyway.
So another album that sold a lot in 1991 was Vanilla Ice's To the Extreme, because Ice Ice Baby, or To the Extreme, which had Ice Ice Baby on it, came out in I think it was October of 1990.
Yeah.
So obviously he still had a lot more albums to sell and everything going into 91. But yeah, so Mariah Carey and Vanilla Ice. We didn't really talk about Vanilla Ice much. We briefly touched on him going into our the this or that, but is this something again that you wanna save until we get to our top five?
If you want to talk about Vanilla Ice, like, you could talk about him all live long day.
So here's the thing with Vanilla Ice. Like, I loved him back in the day. Like when Ice Ice Baby and what was his second oh god, what was the name of that second song? Play That Funky Music.
White Boy.
Yeah, when that came out, like, I was all in. And I went to his concert, obviously. But one thing that I noticed was the hate was immediate. There was a subsect of my middle school that like fucking hated him,
right.
And they were fucking making fun of me because when I went to the Vanilla Ice concert, I bought a Vanilla Ice t-shirt, which I thought was the coolest fucking thing in the world.
Wow.
I wore it to school over the subsequent weeks, and I noticed a lot of guys were like giving me shit for it. I'm like, I thought everybody liked this guy. Like, what the hell? But it wasn't until like subsequent years that I realized that he had a lot of hatred behind him.
Yeah, I even as a 15-year-old, right? Because that's how old I was in 90, right?
Sure.
I was 15. Even at 15 years old, I was like, this guy's a poser. I mean, he obviously was, right? Everything about him was like about this, like with the fucking hair and everything else.
Well, yeah,
too. I'm in this like weird geeky fucking. I was skateboarding, like so Vanilla Ice wasn't really fucking my jam.
Yeah.
I wasn't vehemently against him. Like, VIP, kick it. Like whatever. It's all good.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen.
Like, and again, I knew all the fucking songs and everything else. It wasn't like get away. No, it was nothing like that. It was not my jam.
Okay, yeah, because again, I remember there being like immediately a lot of hatred towards him, and he didn't really have much in the way of follow-ups. And he did the fucking movie, and by the time he did the movie, his popularity was done, and now he's just kind of riding the coattails of the success of Ice Ice Baby and everything else.
Yeah.
And if you watch interviews with him throughout like the late 90s and into the 2000s, he openly admits he's like, he was all about the money. Like, like, show me the money and I'll do whatever the fuck you want me to do. I'll be on the cover of your teen magazines. I'll do your fucking movie, whatever.
Being all
like just fucking pay me,
like,
right?
Got his fucking lines in his hair.
Yeah.
Frosted tips.
Yeah.
Did
so anyway,
frosted tips?
I did not do frosted tips.
Okay.
I would, if I had hair, I'd do that now, but I can't really pull that off.
It's allowed now, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. I feel like I want one more very quick break before we get into our top 5 list.
You're going to go out there and get wet. It's raining.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I need to piss before we get into our top 5.
All right, we're at the mercy of your bladder right now.
Yeah, but we're gonna finish this off with our top 5 lists, and I think it's gonna be very interesting. Which, by the way, has anybody guessed my top 2? By the way,
it's so hard to fucking keep up with the chat, honestly.
All right, well, you guys still have a few minutes to guess my top 2, but you're not going to. Until then, we will be right back after the second word from our sponsors.
The irony is that we've gone longer into the podcast without two fucking two Jason P's. Did Jason just say that he didn't do Frosted Tips? That's exactly what he said. Is that not correct? Because if it's not, then we are definitely going to talk about that. Frosted Tips. Now, what's funny is I will say that I had a phase of my life where I was doing the sun in. I put sun in my hair because I had like that blondish brown hair, and then as I got older it like turned more brown, and I hated it during the summer, so I just I'd put sun in, and it, like, I don't know, but I was like a junior by then. There's no way I was doing fucking Frosted Tips. He's a lying liar. Okay, do you have proof? I mean, is it something you can email me at 75flyer@gmail.com, and then we can share that with the world?
We good?
Yeah.
Count us down.
All right, here we go.
And we're back again. So, are we ready to get into our top 5 lists of the music of 1990?
Yes. What is this about?
Jason, Bohemian Rhapsody. Well, we were talking about Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, but
she keeps bringing it up.
I have no idea.
All right. Anyway.
All right. Yeah, we'll get into that in, what is it, 1992, 93?
I forget.
Jamie, look that up.
We've got 1990 to talk about.
Yeah. So, as always, you and I did a top 5 list of our favorite songs, and we're doing it of this year. So I'm really curious to see what yours are, because you have given me no indication whatsoever throughout the course of this podcast, like what kind of shit young Dave Martin in his freshman year of high school was listening to at this point in time. So I'm really curious to hear your list.
Okay. Don't you usually start?
I'll start if you want me to.
Yeah, you should start.
All right. My number 5. It's a cover of a song by the band Tesla called Signs, from the 5-man acoustical jam.
Wow.
You remember that song? Signs,
I do.
Signs everywhere, signs. Love that song. And I love the Tesla version even more. So that was released in 1990 from their, again, 5-man acoustical jam EP in 1990.
I hated that song.
Really?
Yeah, and I like the acoustical stuff too. Like that's kind of in my wheelhouse, but for some reason that fucking song just irritates the shit out of me.
Really?
Yeah. Like a bad case of fucking like poison ivy just irritates me.
Wow.
I can't I don't have any real reason for it except for maybe just overplay.
Okay.
On various things.
Was it overplayed?
Why would I know that song? Like the few things that I would interact with as far as music goes, which, admittedly is very few.
Yeah.
The fucking song it was enough to irritate me.
Well, apparently Dragon Buddy is with you. He forgot about that song and he was irritated.
Everyone played it. Yeah. See, I'm not
whatever.
crazy.
You know what? Fuck you and fuck Dragon Buddy. I don't give
crazy.
a shit.
I'm not crazy.
Fuck you both. All right. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is what we're doing right now with the CNC Music Factory. Gonna make you sweat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, baby, let the music take control. This was like the first. I went on a techno kick, throughout high schoul.
Well, and this was the time too.
Yeah, this was the beginning.
Yeah.
So I think I had heard this song I don't know if it was at my 8th grade dance or not, but I heard it in we would have like church socials or whatever, and I heard it there.
Yeah.
And so I'd heard it. I'm like, this is kind of like, I kind of like this.
Oh, very catchy.
Yeah. So that was, and it's one of those where if I hear it even today, like if it's on a workout playlist or something like that, I'm like, yeah, music take control.
Oh yeah.
Let the music.
And I'll tell you right now, it's not on my list, but it's very catchy. And every
Yeah.
time I listen to it, I'm like, oh fuck, I used to love this song.
And honestly, like there's a bunch of stuff that it's not on my list, but things that came up on Now That's What You Call Music with the Technotronic and stuff like that. Whereas like this began to blossom into something that I appreciated musically and still do.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's my number 5.
That's good. Good choice. Your number 4.
My number 4, I'm cheating with my number 4.
Okay.
It's the entire Home Alone soundtrack.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Going a little John Williams.
Doing a little John Williams.
All right.
Even as a Star Wars kid and knowing that this was a John Williams joint, you could just tell. Right, you're watching Home Alone, you can just tell.
Well, and this is the thing. I remember watching Home Alone back in the day, saw it in theaters. One of the few movies I saw in theaters back during this time frame. And I remember loving the soundtrack and not realizing it was the same guy that did Star Wars. Like I was not like so in tune with John Williams that I knew all of his work. I just remember loving that soundtrack and not associating it with Star Wars or anything else.
I think I probably was able to make that association just because like either my parents or somebody else in the family had brought that association up to me. Because even at this age, I was into Fantasia and a lot of big orchestral stuff that I was drawn to. Again, very eclectic music takers, even in 1990. But,
at this point, I wasn't into my classical kick yet. Like I didn't get into my classical kick until like 92, 93 time frame.
Yeah, even in 1990, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, based on shit fucking pressing, I think at some point, like I had seen it like on video, like just my exposure to it was such that it was like, I love this fucking music. I just love the how big it is, right? It's such a big piece of music orchestrally. And Home Alone, you can listen to that soundtrack and you can like you don't have to see Home Alone fucking 50 million times, which we probably all have, but to really feel like the music is such a big part of it. And this more so at 15 years old, probably for me, this music made a difference to the movie type thing. So, so I'm cheating. The Home Alone soundtrack.
No, that's good. I like it. Before we get into my number 4, the chat kind of got me off on a sidebar, but I want to talk about this. Another thing that happened in 1990 was a little movie called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
You may remember that.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of big at the time.
It was.
A little big. And the soundtrack to that was pretty big as well. It was this kind of conglomerate of a lot of hip hop, a lot of R&B, a lot of techno, dance type of music. And like MC Hammer had a track on that soundtrack. There was a guy that did a song called Turtle Power that had a really big music video.
Yeah.
The same people that did Pump Up the Jam had a song on that soundtrack. So even though none of them were like really big, sort of rememberable, in your face tracks now, they were pretty big back in the day.
That was such a good
movie. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got it.
And
from April,
yeah, they did not do a good job of casting April in that movie, but
the fucking turtles that shit was amazing.
And even Casey Jones, like the dude that played Casey Jones, I thought he was fucking awesome.
Yeah. It was. I don't want to say it's underrated because I think it has an appropriate following,
sure,
especially with us.
Oh yeah,
But that I forgot that was a soundtrack for 1990. To be honest.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the movie came out in 90, so. Yeah, 31 years ago.
Fuck, we're old, dude.
I know, right? So anyway, moving on to my number 4.
Yes.
This is from a little band called Warrant, and the song was called Cherry Pie. So I'm sure you remember.
Oh yeah,
such a catchy fucking song.
I don't like Cherry. That song had no relevance to me until I was fucking old enough to be in a strip club.
And you saw a woman stripping to that song, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, I get it."
It's just guilty by association, right?
Right.
So the strip club soundtrack, being 18 years old in 1994, 3 something, and they had a place. It was called the hell was the name of that place? It was on the Black Horse Pike, and it was just this big monster pink building, right? Seventh something. I don't know. It'll come to me when I absolutely don't need it. But anyway, that was like the place. Like, so even as like when you kind of had an idea what it is, like Fantasy Showgirls, blah, 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 you kind of look and you start maturing into like, wow, I don't want to know what's in there. And then when you go in there, it's like, this is the worst place ever. It's just like, yeah.
But
Cherry Pie.
Yeah, no, I fucking love that song. I owned the album on cassette, like the entire Warrant Cherry Pie album, which had a couple of other really good songs on it. They had like a song called Uncle Tom's Cabin, which was actually like a real serious song. A couple other fun songs on there too. But yeah, I had that whole album. There was the final track on that was called Ode to Tipper Gore. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Tipper Gore, Al Gore's fucking wife?
Yeah.
Fucking the wife of a senator from Tennessee. Was huge into fucking like music censorship.
Yeah.
She was all about like fucking wanting to censor, explicit lyrics in music.
Right.
That's where we got the fucking explicit lyrics sticker and all that shit. So Warrant on that album had a track called Ode to Tipper Gore. And it was nothing but them going, fuck, shit, fuck, shit. Like clips from like their concerts and stuff like that. And it was fucking great. But anyway.
That's right.
Cherry Pie. It's such a catchy song, and I don't know.
Everyone knows it.
Have you played the Guitar Hero games? Like not Rock Band, but Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero 2 had fucking Cherry Pie on there, and it was so fun to fucking play on Guitar Hero.
I'm sure I played. Yeah.
She's my
sidebar ish. The Guitar Hero Rock Band games, they were fucking fun.
Yeah, they were.
From a musical standpoint, yeah. Are you actually playing guitar? No, but it was fucking fun.
Yeah,
even if you're just playing it on like not ridiculously hard level. Like I was never good enough to fucking be on the hard levels, but I played like on a medium level and fucking just enjoy myself, and it was fun. I would like. That's one of those where if I had a classic, console type setup, I'd want to have Guitar Hero on there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, on the PS2 or Xbox 360.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on to my number 3.
Okay.
We talked about this guy a lot. His name is MC Hammer, and you can't touch this.
Oh.
Can't
touch this.
I mean, you talk about catchy fucking songs. Yes, it's a little cheesy. Yes, when you look back on it, okay, it's whatever. But I'm telling you, man, at the time, this was fucking huge.
Oh, yeah.
You have no fucking idea.
Well, he was like this. He was in Pepsi commercials, right? Wasn't Pepsi like his big thing?
Oh yeah, he was everywhere. Super Bowl,
MC Hammer was. He was every fucking where.
Yeah,
which is why when he like fell from that perch, it was fucking epic.
Oh yeah, it was monumental. But I mean, at the time, summer of 1990, MC Hammer's "You Can't Touch This." That was the biggest fucking thing going around, bar none. And you know what? To this day, I still like it. I'll still listen to it. It was fun. I don't give a shit what the haters say. You can go fuck yourselves. It was, it was a defining moment of the time in pop culture.
For sure. Across the board, advertising, fashion, music, all of it.
Yeah.
It was the beginning of this decade of what was to be in music. For sure. No, I can't argue its place on the fucking list.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I can remember fucking loving this song and listening to it over and over and over again. Exactly. So that was my number 3.
Bang the bell, school's in, sucker.
Moving to your number 3.
My number 3. My number 3 is Hold On by Wilson Phillips.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was something about even like in the car listening to it today. It's just like if it released it today, it would work.
Right.
It has that acapella sound to it. They
all had good voices.
Yeah, it's just fucking, I just like it. That's just one of those things. When I heard it, I liked it. I just like their voices. And there's probably something to be said for the message for me in 1992. Like the few times before I got so jaded where I stopped listening to lyrics and actually like paid attention to what songs were saying, except for Janie J's Gun. Apparently, I thought that was about sex. But
all right, so okay, here's a question.
Okay,
so were you a China Phillips guy or were you a Wendy Wilson guy? Nobody was a Carney Wilson guy for whatever reason, but
I was a Wendy Wilson guy.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah,
like especially again, like I told you, I really like their second album.
Yeah,
the song they did called "Give It Up," and you watch the music video. Like I was madly in love with Wendy Wilson after that video.
Yeah.
Like, China Phillips, the thing with her was I hated the fucking short blonde hair.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, no, I don't like that. But no, Wendy Wilson, she did something for me.
Yeah. And look, that song was a fucking hit for a reason. It wasn't just because of the fucking singers or the video. It was I just think it was a catchy song, and I don't apologize for it.
And you know what? You shouldn't have to apologize for it.
And I won't.
Much like I'm never going to apologize for MC Hammer or anything else.
Right.
All right. You're number 2.
My number 2. So my number 1 and number 2 are so far from Wilson Phillips. it's not even funny. My number 2 is from a band called Anthrax. And the song is Belly of the Beast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Oh, I guess that was 90, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Anthrax was, we talked about it a little bit with the 80s, like how I was exposed to bands like Metallica and like Pantera and like these like heavy metal bands were like in my buddy's basement listening to fucking music. Like, and it was all heavy shit. And Anthrax was one of them. And it's not the best metal, it really isn't, but I just enjoy it. And later on, like Anthrax, the Bring the Noise album was
was fucking off the hook.
Yeah, that was a great fucking album.
Yeah.
But yeah, Belly of the Beast, there's a live version I think that's on the Bring the Noise album that's actually probably my favorite version of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 2.
All right, I like it. Yeah, good stuff. All right, so my number 2, I told you nobody was going to guess this, but this is from my girl, Mariah Carey, because obviously, like...
Why did nobody guess that?
Well,
because... we got to figure out which song.
Well, because again, this was a song from her debut album that was never a single.
Okay.
So I got her debut album fairly soon after it came out because immediately I was, enthralled by this woman. And it's a song called All in Your Mind.
Okay.
Again, it was never released as a single. If you don't own the album, you probably don't even know what it is, but it was the one song that I kind of gravitated towards. Very catchy. It kind of demonstrates her vocal range and everything, but a really good song. Something I always liked. Again, you'd have to listen to it to know anything about it, but the whole theme of the song is like, you think we're drifting apart, but trust me, it's all in your mind. We're good. Everything's cool in the gang.
So was it from her self-titled debut album?
Her self-titled debut album, which, by the way, was the top-selling album of 1991.
Oh, man.
All right, so my number 1.
Okay.
So
I'm ready.
This was a no-brainer. There was no debating what was going to be my top song. Like, as soon as we talked about doing a top 5 list for 1990, when I realized this song and this album came out in 1990...
Is it on the screen right now?
It is not. Though I like where you're going with that, Luna Girl, but no. It is from a movie soundtrack, though. It's not from Ninja Turtles. It's not Ninja Turtles.
Supergirl has the quote of the fucking show. Somehow he tricked us all into a 2-hour podcast about Mariah Carey.
And it's not Batman.
Okay.
But there was a movie soundtrack that came out in 1990. About a little Emilio Estevez vehicle called Young Guns 2.
Oh, that was in 90?
Yeah. And a man named John Bon Jovi branched out to do his a little solo act. And he came out with the song Blaze of Glory. from the Young Guns 2 soundtrack.
Yeah, fuck.
Which, from the moment I heard that song, fucking loved it. Absolutely loved it. When I realized there was a cassette single for that song, I immediately went out and bought it. That was the first cassette single that I ever bought as a teenage kid. And that entire album, the entire Young Guns 2 soundtrack, is one of my like top 3 favorite albums of all time. It's all done by Jon Bon Jovi, and it's all done in a it flows a theme from the Billy the Kid Old West era. Like every song on that soundtrack has an Old West kind of theme to it. And I don't know if it was just because I had access to that album, because my cousin Jeff, who I've talked about multiple times on the show, he and I have a whole Star Wars history with each other. He basically cloned a copy of that onto a blank cassette tape and gave me the whole album. And I would listen to it over and over and over again. And like I said, to this day, that entire Young Guns 2 soundtrack is like top 3 favorite albums of all time, up there with Dark Side of the Moon and fucking Rumors.
Hey, don't spoil fucking future podcasting.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, no. Blaze of Glory is the title track on that. Though to be fair, there's another song on that soundtrack that I actually like a little bit more, to the point where if I ever die, it's debatable if that's going to happen. I'm shooting for the live forever plan.
Fair enough.
But if I ever do die, and there's a funeral for me and people actually give a shit to show up, the one song that I want played at my funeral more than anything else is the Jon Bon Jovi song Miracle from this same soundtrack.
Okay.
Like that's the, I know a lot of people like have a song that they want played at their funeral. Well, it's Miracle for me from this same soundtrack.
Okay.
But yeah, no, Young Guns 2, Blaze of Glory, my number 1 song from 1990.
Wow. I forgot all. I'm not a huge Bon Jovi guy.
Of course you're not.
So it doesn't, but that's a great song. I mean, it just is. You have to appreciate things that are good. Then yeah, that's a good song.
Yeah.
No, I can't fault you for that at all.
And remember, folks, this was Jon Bon Jovi. This was not the band Bon Jovi. Like he branched off and did his own solo thing because the studio that made Young Guns 2, I can't remember who it was, but they approached him and they're like, "Can we use Wanted Dead or Alive as our title track for the soundtrack?" And John's like, I don't really like that. Let me write some other songs for you and do those for the soundtrack. And that's how this whole thing manifested. So
interesting.
Yeah. So that's my number 1.
I like it.
All right. Moving on to you, sir.
So my number 1 has not nearly the amount of fucking gravitas apparently as yours, but keeping with the metal theme, and songs that, as I sit here right now and think about the songs from that era that are for me something that I'll play and listen to every single time. Cowboys from Hell from Pantera.
Okay.
That's a great fucking album.
Yeah.
The entirety of that album is really, really fucking good. And this was my first exposure to Pantera was with this album.
Right.
And like I listened to on Sirius XM, I listened to Turbo, and it's music from the 90s and the 2000s, right? And they'll play songs off of this album probably 4 or 5 times a day. Like, every other hour, you're going to get at least one Pantera song. It's probably going to be this one. It could be another one.
Well, Walk is the song that I'm like most familiar with when it comes to Pantera.
But yeah, Cowboys from Hell, there's a lot of really good songs on that album, and it's tough to kind of pick one, but I think I picked one that was a little bit more because it was the title track, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking about a time in my life when the stuff that I was like actively, I'm going to listen to music. This is what I'm going to listen to.
Right.
And this is what I was listening to.
Yeah. Because you're always like more unplugged from whatever's going on in the mainstream.
Yeah.
When the rest of us are jamming out to fucking Ice Ice Baby and You Can't Touch This and fucking Blaze of Glory, Dave is over here listening to Pantera.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and, this fucking nerdy kid, 15-year-old, fucking, really goofy, not popular freshman in high school, and this is the shit I was listening to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number one. And when I was doing the research for the show, I was looking at albums that debuted in 1990 because again, that was the framework that I established for this for myself and ultimately for both of us. And yeah, I didn't realize that this was 1990. I for some reason I thought this was later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, fuck it, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's funny, because again, we talked about this before. Like if we were incorporating songs from albums that were released before this, Janie's Got a Gun would have been in my top 5, as would have been Tom Petty's Free Fallin'.
Free Fallin' for sure. Yeah, that would have easily broke my top 5.
Yeah. But again, we limited this to stuff released in 1990. So those are the lists. Though my number one would never have changed. My number one is going to stay the same for the rest of my life. So, and again,
and now we know what song to play at your funeral.
Miracle.
If you ever die.
If I die, I'm working on.
We're going for the Futurama style. Fucking, we're gonna put your head in the jar.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that. So
others deserving mention.
Oh, I do have some honorable mentions.
So I'm going to get mine out of the way straight away.
I do it.
Madonna, Vogue.
Okay.
And Ice Ice Baby were on my others deserving.
All right.
Just because of their obvious impact to to everything else, and Can't Touch This is on that list too. As I was going through now that's what you call music from the 90s, allegedly, because I don't remember the fucking name of it. I did screenshots of the thing. There's remember KLF?
Yes.
KLF is going to rock you. Apparently that What Time Is Love came out in 1990.
Oh, that's right.
The Get Up Before the Night Is Over, the Technotronic. We kind of hit on that a little bit. Delamitri had fucking Nothing Ever Happens. That was in 1990. I remember Delamitri having shit later, like a couple one-hit wonders. You don't know the song.
I'm sure I'd recognize it if I heard it.
Yeah. Black Velvet, that song. Black Velvet.
Oh.
Yeah. That was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about Roxette from This or That. It Must Have Been Love was.
Yes. So that is my first honorable mention.
Nice.
And that was from the Pretty Woman soundtrack, I want to say. It must have been love, but it's over now. Yes. So that was my first honorable mention. The second one, I don't know if anybody else remembers this, but it's a little song called Mentirosa from Mellow Man Ace. I don't know if you remember that.
You just you went into Spanish Secure all of a sudden.
Well, that's what it is. It's a Spanglish song. Because
Okay.
right now you're just a liar, a straight mentirosa. Today you tell me something, y mañana otra cosa.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
This is where we started this Spanglish couple of songs. Because if you remember, a year or two later, you had fucking Gerardo, Rico, Suave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was kind of the start of that. Mellow Man Ace's Mentirosa. And I don't know how it was out here on the East Coast, but in Southern California, let's face it, Southern California is New Mexico, is basically what it is. The Hispanic population is booming out there. And I'm going to ignore the chat for right now.
No, you can't. So Bronco Fett says, Jason, would you rather live forever and have Love Shack playing all the time or have Bon Jovi playing at your funeral?
I'll have to get back with you on that one because that's a tough choice.
Okay.
But anyway, the Spanglish stuff was pretty big, and the Mentirosa was huge.
That's really funny.
So, and then my last song, you talk about a real localized song, because we don't really delve into one certain genre of music. But there is one song that might have been bigger than almost any other song.
Don't do it. There was an edict issued earlier.
Blame it all on my roots.
Oh no, okay.
I showed up in boots.
That's fine.
And ruined your black tie affair.
That's
the last one to know. Yeah. The last one to show. I was the last one you thought you'd see there.
Jason's got cowboy boots on right now.
Well, I didn't mean to cause a big scene. Just give me an hour and then I'll be as high as that ivory tower that you're living in.
I got friends in low places.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, you can't go into a karaoke bar and not hear that once.
Yeah. And, to be from Bakersfield, California, which they call Nashville West.
Who's they?
Everybody. Like, seriously, like Bakersfield is the country music capital of the West Coast. And like country music is huge out there. And fucking when this song came out in 1990, it was fucking everywhere. Like, I don't know how it was out here on the East Coast or anything else. But yeah, no, Garth Brooks, fucking Friends in Low Places was everywhere.
I need verification that Bakersfield is the Nashville of the West Coast.
It is. Google it. Google it.
I
Talia in the chat says so. So
okay. All right. We have confirmation from a non-troll.
Yeah.
It's somebody who wouldn't be trolling us.
Right.
I want to say it like that.
Even Supergirl 3000 agrees.
So is.
Yeah. So
it says it like it's not necessarily.
Yeah. No, country music is fucking huge in Bakersfield. And when fucking this song came out, it was bigger than anything.
I believe it.
Bigger than fucking MC Hammer or Vanilla Ice or any of that. Like Garth Brooks was like fucking on another level here, localized at this point, probably too in like Nashville and all of the South and everything where country music was big. But no, it was fucking gigantic.
That's really funny.
Yeah. So I could not do this episode without mentioning Friends in Low Places from Garth Brooks because
that's fair.
Yeah.
Two more that I want to mention that's from the now what this called music, and they're not Garth Brooks. Suicide Blonde by NXS.
Oh yeah. And I think they were around before 1990, but this was like their big like mainstream debut.
This is like if you ask me name a song from NXS, it's going to be this song.
Yeah.
So there's that one. And the other one was Phil Collins. I Wish It Would Rain Down. That was 1990.
Okay.
Hence why I was listening to it. So on the way here from work, I was, listening to this, soundtrack or this song list or fucking playlist. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Listening to this playlist and driving into this fucking torrential downpour. So I'm like, oh, well, I don't wish it would rain on me like this. So I fucking texted Jason a picture of the song and then what it looked like outside, which was like basically fucking zero visibility.
Which, by the way, when you texted me that, it was clear in a million.
Oh, yeah.
Out here.
No, it was clear. It took me till past through 38 to get out of that storm. But yeah, that's it. That's it for my others deserving mention. And we're probably missing a ton.
Oh, I'm sure we are. Like, again, thank God we didn't do the 90s as one episode because the width of fucking just so many different.
Are we hitting the sidewalls?
Yes. We are. Yeah, we're hitting the sidewalls. Like the amount of change that music goes throughout the 90s. You can't cover it in a single episode. So that's why we're doing each year as an individual episode because you have to break it down this way because so much happens and there's so much that's different between 1990 and 1999. Like it's such a drastic shift in musical style and presentation and everything else. Because in 1990, again, we had cassette tapes, cassette singles, recording off of the fucking radio. By 1999, we've got the fucking internet. We've got fucking Napster. Everything is different at that point. So to say that music changes during this decade is the understatement of the century.
This is the kickoff to it. So, and we'll cover every year.
Yeah.
Because reasons.
Yes.
Because we do a weekly podcast and it makes for good content.
Indeed it does. And I can't wait to talk about 91, honestly. Because then we're getting into the Metallica Black album, Use Your Illusion.
Yep. We may have to establish some ground rules about like gratuitous use of the Metallica album and stuff like that. Maybe we talk about it as a whole.
Yeah. Well, because we already talked about Metallica.
We did.
In a single episode, so we can keep that to a minimum. But
And I know it would dominate. It would dominate a lot of.
well, yeah,
what
between
else?
them and Guns N' Roses, we'd
Yeah.
do a whole episode just on those two in 91.
Yeah. So there's other music that happened in 1991.
There is. There's
so
a lot of music. So, all right, next week
Yes.
we are catching up with the Bad Batch.
Yes.
We haven't done a Bad Batch episode in fucking 5-6 weeks, something like that.
Yeah. It feels like it's been a minute.
Yeah,
And
you are way.
I am way behind. I'm way behind. There was a spoiler on fucking StarWars.com today. I was a little bit pissed
Yeah.
about that. You know, the fucking, but it's on StarWars.com, so fuck me.
Right.
It's not some fucking shitbag giving it away.
Yeah.
And fuck me for not. I need to be paying more attention to it. I just need to. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to catch up this week. That way, I'm fucking fresh and raring to go for it on either Sunday or Monday next week.
It's been good.
So
It's been just enough to kind of satisfy that Star Wars taste
yeah.
that you have, you know?
Yeah, and like viscerally, because you know there's other stuff. There's the novels and stuff that is out there that I'm having a tough time with. I'm having a tough time reading. I'm having a tough time reading in general. I have 3 books that I was like reading at the same time,
Mhm.
and then like I set the parking brake.
Right.
I just now I'm not reading anything. It's like fuck.
Yeah.
And it happens. That happens to me. I just like I'll go vroom, vroom, just voraciously reading everything I could possibly get, and then fucking nope. So yeah, Bad Batch. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing next week, and we can give a little taste for what's going on for us the rest of the month, right? All right. So week after next, we just recently passed an anniversary, a 30-year anniversary, which blows my
These 30-year
mind.
anniversaries. These like the 25 years. Like okay, 25 doesn't seem as bad. 30 now it's like. I really remember something that happened 30 years ago.
Yeah. And we're talking about Terminator 2 Judgment Day. 30 fucking years old. And we're going to talk about it in 2 weeks. And then the week after that, we're getting into another 30-year anniversary. And we're going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog, the first game for the Sega Genesis. Also celebrating its 30-year anniversary this year, which is like fucking hell, man. It's like you said, I remember so distinctly. I can remember the look, the smell, the feel of where I was when I saw T2 for the first time. I can remember sitting down at my friend's house when he bought his first Sega Genesis, throwing in that fucking Sonic game and playing Sonic for the first time. Yeah.
Yep.
It's right there. And to think that was 30 fucking years ago.
Oh my god, it's making my chest hurt.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So, but anyway, that's what you're in for the rest of July, folks.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Do some Star Wars and then take a fucking fast track on the way back train.
Indeed.
No. All right.
What he said.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm going to take this opportunity right now to talk about what the friends of the podcast are doing out there, because I'm terrible at fucking remembering this shit on my own. So thankfully we have an amazing social media director that has aggregated this data for me so that I can go over it for you and also you and you and you and you and you. Friends of the pod, Big Sweet and Lunar Girl co-hosted a fireside chat last Monday in our absence. So those who needed that fix, they were able to.
Yeah, they needed that gap filled.
They did, apparently.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Sidewalls. So you can check that out on Big Swede's Excellent Adventure on YouTube, one of the many Swede channels. Speaking of another Swede channel, Swede Studios released a new cover of Creep. I don't know. Did you watch it, right?
I saw that.
Fucking good. Fucking really good.
Yeah, no, he's super talented, man.
Yeah. He also posted 2 of the 7 Dust songs performed live in Steel Stacks in Bethlehem, which I talked about earlier. You can go to the Swede Studios
on YouTube.
On the YouTubes. Use and Abuse podcast is having 2 shows on Tuesday. They will be doing a weekend racing recap on Tuesday morning at 5 a.m. Why 5 a.m.? That's 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight. But for fuck's sake, that's like, you guys, craziness. It's absolute craziness.
Hey, they have their reasons.
I'm sure they do.
And let them do their thing.
Good on them, but fuck me. It's too early. It's too early. Their second show will be part 1 of 2 on a Rock Legends Kiss at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight. Catch both shows live on YouTube.
And you will do it.
Do it. ATSW Escape Pod plans to discuss their favorite episodes as they compare and contrast streaming series Trailer Park Boys versus Letterkenny.
Oh, they're not just going to steal some more ideas from us?
No, I think they're
done with Kevin Smith, so they're going to move on?
For now.
All right.
They're going to tell us about their experience at ScarifCon 2021, which was on Saturday. We alluded to that earlier with the Red 5 Network. You can also find them live on YouTube, 7 p.m. on Wednesday, or on your favorite podcasting app. Speaking of ScarifCon, our new Red 5 family hosted and live streamed that event this past Saturday. There was an interview with Dominic Pace, aka Gecko the Bounty Hunter, who I'm going to find out when he is going to be in Blackwood, so that we can. I want to get over there and say hi to the guy. And apparently, I'm like, hey, if you mentioned that fucking the Escape Pod guys, apparently that's a thing. So, yeah, look for on the Red 5 Network on YouTube to see some of the coverage of that said ScarifCon. Continue to follow our amazing social media director at the Sidebar Cantina. Luna Girl's doing amazing work over there. She's also breached probably isn't the right word. Breached, like the whales breach. I don't, whatever. We're on Twitter. We've been on Twitter, but now like we plan on being a little bit more active.
When you say we, you mean
Luna Girl.
The podcast has a presence on Twitter.
Right. Luna Girl.
We are not on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not engaged on Twitter at all. However, because the Red 5 Network, it does a lot of their promotional stuff on Twitter, I will have some tacit awareness of what goes on specifically for that. But that's all I'm going to acknowledge at this point until Luna Girl tells us otherwise. And do we have a TeePublic store?
Yeah. I don't know. You run that shit.
Oh, fuck. I don't know. Yeah. Look for us on TeePublic. And there's going to be a new, like, look for us on TeePublic. I'm pretty sure I opened up a Sidebar Cantina store specifically. So do I.
Well, yeah, because you're selling the shirts of me.
Yes.
In the buff.
Jason Rose.
Yes.
So you can get that shirt.
Which, by the way, Wally is already working on your next piece. The llamas on Tatooine.
Yes. I have the high resolution JPEG of that, and it will be on a t-shirt as soon as I can fucking rub two sticks together and get the time to do it. But all kinds of good stuff from the Sidebar Cantina happening in your world tonight.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like it.
Whatever. We got to pee, folks.
I know. So
like, it's gotten to the point where like we're starting to get uncomfortable.
Right.
Jason's going to start grabbing his balls again. We need to pee.
I always grab my balls. But anyway, yeah. Thanks everybody for listening. Please go to iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review. Leave us any review. I don't give a shit what you say. I don't give a shit what you put. Leave us a review, and we will read your review verbatim here on the show. And apparently, Dave might sing too. But
yeah, if you leave us, if you want me to sing something, whatever it is, you leave us a review, I'll sing it.
Yeah,
I'll put that out there. I'm not afraid. I should be afraid because God knows what somebody's going to come up with. I will sing it. I won't say it's not going to be good, but I will definitely sing it.
Yeah.
I may even have Jenna Lopez. She can sing. See.
But either way, leave us a review on iTunes. We'll read your review verbatim on the show, and we'll greatly appreciate it.
Yes.
But until next time, we are going to bid our adieu. We'll see you next week with The Bad Batch. And until next time, Dave, you can't touch this.
Can't touch this. Okay, now what do I click?
All right.
Post show. Holy fuck. fuck, it's hot. Turn on that AC.
All right. Ugh. I think I drank too much. Ugh. Episode 207 Raw. Monday Night Raw. Blah. Whew. I saw a lot of chat talking about me and cowboy boots and all that. Like, what's going on here? Didn't get a chance to address it, but yeah, I wore cowboy boots back in the day. I'm not ashamed of it. I went through a country phase.
Crazy amount of lightning bugs out there.
Yeah. I got to go back and read the chat because they were talking mad shit about me wearing cowboy boots and everything else. There's no shame in my game. I did it.
Oh, no. And I've seen pictures of you in your cowboy boots. You were wearing cowboy boots when you fucking left for basic.
Yes, I did. Exactly. You all right there?
Like, what the hell is this happening?
Yeah.
What is this?
Dessert, I'm sure.
Ooh.
Cocaine.
Ooh, it's cocaine. Sweet. We were going to do lines earlier. So did you find a picture?
No, I found some good pictures,
Uh-huh.
but not of the ones I was looking for.
Okay. We need frosted tip pictures.
I'll find
it has to happen.
It totally happened.
He's such a liar.
I know.
So yeah, I'm eagerly anticipating that. We just can't let him know it's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
He says he'll go read the chat, but he's not going to read the chat.
No, he'd have to go way back because it's buried in the middle of it. Although if he looks at it now, or looks at the pod at this point, maybe I don't know. Oh my fucking god! I don't know if you could see me sweating. Like, hopefully, most people are watching on their phones and they can't see me sweating profusely.
No, I couldn't tell. But
Well, that's good. Yeah, the pancake we have to put on for these high def cameras.
wow,
Yeah, that wasn't full, was it?
it was not, but it was close. I used like a cup to make a dessert,
Uh-huh.
and the rest was all him.
He only had 2 shots of it
Well, this
today.
time. Give me a chair. Come on, chair. Get a chair. Get a chair. And I'll sit in it, and you can have yours. You're welcome. I'm gonna let you move past me. I'm letting you move past me.
Oh, thank you.
All right, I'll block your way. That's fine.
Lunar Girl texted the "Don't hurt the pops." So it is
red light.
Wow.
July 28th, Adventureland store in Blackwood.
I've never heard of that. Where's Blackwood from here?
It's
It's down 42.
10 minutes from my house.
It's not far.
Okay.
Like,
You know that road that you got where you got your tattoo?
Yeah.
And like Glendora, you can
Yeah.
stay on that road and just keep going. You hit Blackwood. That's
Oh,
like the next
okay.
town down.
So
Wow. Tom has an opinion about country music.
Oh, look, I said it in the chat. Kathy likes country music. I'm of all the genres of music that I listen to, country music, I just can't do it.
Most people are like that, but if you come from
Well, yeah,
that,
obviously. I can't,
like people that listen to that on a regular basis.
yeah, I
You
came
get
from an
used to
urban area. Like,
Yeah.
classic rock was the closest thing that I got. Like, honestly, the closest thing I listen to country music is fucking Jimmy Buffett. And that's because there's a steel guitar in it. And I'm not a fan of steel guitar.
Right.
And I've heard it. I've even tried to go to live country music. And I love live music. Like, usually any music live is better.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it. I appreciate it. I appreciate that people enjoy it, and that's good for them. I can't fucking do it. I just can't. And it's okay.
appreciate that it exists.
It exists,
Yeah.
and that makes people happy, just not me.
Yeah, I think it's a product of the environment, and you know
what it is. So, all right, there's 2 reasons why this is bad for me for country music. One, I fucking hate the Cowboys. Hate the Cowboys, right?
Right.
And there should be no association, right?
No.
But there is. Fucking cowboy boot wearing, fucking cowboy hats and all this shit. Like that was the monitor.
Yeah,
I thought it was lightning.
You're all right, squirrel.
Yeah. Like I had a cowboy hat. My dad brought me back a cowboy hat from Brownsville, Texas. He was down there, TDY. Right. So, but it was like that's the closest thing I ever got to country.
See, the funny thing is like I went through a country phase. I had cowboy boots, I had Wranglers, I had Brooks and Dunn t-shirts or Brooks and Dunn shirts,
right.
But I refused to wear a cowboy hat. Like that was where I drew the line.
Well, you're not a hat guy.
Sure. Yeah, but like that was where I drew the line though, was at hats. Like I wouldn't wear a cowboy hat, but I went through a country phase where I listened to music and did the whole dress up except the hat.
Interesting.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like that was
it's a whole like it's this whole persona, and especially like being in an urban environment, somebody that's like those people that go full country that are like living in the shadow of fucking skyscrapers in Philadelphia. They're trying to be something else. Like,
right.
It's not because
it's like for me, it feels like it's like a Halloween costume or
yeah.
like something they put on that's not genuine.
Right. It's like, oh
it's
hey,
like playing dress up.
Yeah, we don't like this particular, we don't like any of this other stuff. We're gonna dress up as something else.
Yeah.
And they're Cowboys fans. Most of them are Cowboys fans. So like you go to Prospectors up by the base and see all these fuckers with their.
Well, and Talia said, like being from Bakersfield, it's instilled in us. It's like part of our DNA.
Sure.
Like that whole country.
Yeah, and I can imagine if I was like from Texas, like you've been to that fucking grow your own steak place, right? Where it was
in Hawaii?
No, in Greenville. Or I guess it was in Rockville.
Rockwall.
Yes, thank you.
You
never went there?
Yeah, no, I've been there.
Yeah, so that if I was from that area, then I'm sure I'd be all about it because that's where everyone hung out.
Right, but the funny thing is like people down there, they didn't all wear cowboy hats or anything. It was, I don't know.
Some of them were normal.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna taste it. Oh God.
Welcome to this episode of Kristen
Ugh.
drinks Fireball and doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Jason's all over it for something that he like never discovered until like the 4th of July.
Yeah.
He's apparently enjoying it. Good thing you're teleworking tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Did you start to download already?
Mm-hmm. It's going.
Broncos, dude, I can smell that from here. Like
it's good though, right? It
fucking
smells like that candy.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It tastes like the candy too. It's probably why it's so dangerous.
I think that's why it was so popular because they Jack Daniels made a version of it called Jack Fire.
Yeah,
I know people are like, oh, Fireball sucks. Jack Fire's bad. It's the same shit,
right? Well,
the same fucking shit.
Well, you mentioned the aftershock, like that's.
Dude.
Like you had the well, what was the other thing? You had the aftershock, which was the red.
Ice
then you
101.
Had yes, which was the blue, right?
Yes, Ice 101. So we would pregame before we went out to like the disco dance party, right? And we would
disco dance.
I'm disco dancing. So my buddy Jeff, he worked at an Annie Ann's down the shore.
Yeah,
and during the summer, and we had like the stockpile of Annie Ann's cups. So we'd take these big, large size Annie Ann's cups, and we'd basically fucking half fill them with Aftershock or Ice 101, usually Ice 101, just because fucking shock value.
Yeah.
And the trick was to drink it before it melted out the bottom of the fucking cup. Because it would start eating because it's that wax paper cup, right?
Yeah.
So it starts eating away at it, and you'd be like, "Oh fuck!" and you'd have to drink it, and then you'd get fucking absolute just shit faced.
Yeah,
it was just awful. Yeah, Ice 101 and Aftershock. They were.
Oh, it was great, man. That's
Goldschlager. Goldschlager was in her.
That was more 94, 95 kind of thing for me.
No, it was all in the same rotation for me.
Yeah. Well, because we're talking about, for me, it was the difference between like not being in the Air Force and then being in the Air Force.
Okay.
So, and I can remember, going to the shopette on the McGuire side, which you know where the shopette is now. It used to be across the street, like next to the movie theater.
Yeah.
And going in there and like on the top shelf, seeing the Aftershock and the what was the other one again?
Ice 101.
Yeah, and picking both of those. And
I wonder why they're not out anymore.
I don't know.
Like they remade Zima.
Oh, Zima. The original Zima was the best. Zima Gold was garbage. Like
I didn't know there was a distinction.
Oh, Zima Gold was terrible.
Didn't they just re-release Zima?
I don't know. Did they?
I saw it all over.
Jamie, look that up.
Yeah, I saw it all over the drama book. You know, it had people of our age were like, "Oh, look, Zimas! Oh my God!" They're reliving their back in the day when they were fucking sneaking wine coolers.
Talia, are you talking about Aftershock or Goldschlager?
I used to put Skittles in Zima.
Because it wasn't sugary enough. You just, I need more sugar, more.
Zima. Is a clear, lightly carbonated alcoholic beverage made and distributed by the Coors. Oh, it was made by Coors? Oh, Coors Light. That was the drink of the 80s and 90s in my life.
Yeah, my parents weren't beer drinkers, so we didn't really have beer around. Like my grandfather had basically quit boozing by the time I like remember it. Yeah. He was like, you know, World War II vets, man. They were huge alcoholics.
And deservedly so.
Yeah.
Like honestly.
And then after he had a heart attack at like 50.
Then he's like, maybe I should slow it down.
I'm gonna throttle this back. So. What was I looking up? Fuck!
Zima?
No, it wasn't Zima.
Goldschlager?
Ice 101.
Ice 101. Oh, I would love to get my hands on some Zima.
When they re-released it, was it like the same exact?
Be all creepy about it.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, so it was re-released in 2017 and 2018. But overall it was discontinued in 2008. Fuck you, Coors. Coors Light, by the way, was like always in my fridge growing up. Like there was always Coors Light.
Yeah, I never, like I said, my parents had like, if they were going to have an alcoholic beverage, like when the kids went to bed, they would have like screwdrivers, you know, like they had some vodka or whatever. I was never so bold as to sneak alcohol. Like just there's not going to be a thing. Yeah. Like how we got alcohol was like from my fucking buddy's mom who didn't give a shit. Like she was the cool mom.
You're right.
Like, yeah, it's like you have to have those cool moms in your life. Otherwise you would never get hold of this shit. All right. I'm going to share this. I don't remember the bottle looking like this.
No, it was the same bottle as the Aftershock, except it was blue.
It was taller like this though.
No.
It
See,
was.
It was. No. Back in the day, back in like 96, 97, there was the Aftershock bottle and there was the blue version that was the exact same bottle, the exact same size, except it was blue and it had a different name. That wasn't
Ice 101. That was something else.
Well, come on. We got some smart motherfuckers in the chat. Look that shit up.
Yeah. Ice 101, it was in a taller bottle.
No, it was the same fucking
bottle. I know what you're talking about. Let's see. It was the blue Aftershock looking bullshit.
I'm sure it'll come up. Oh, that's it. It was Aftershock. It was just blue.
Yeah. But yeah, so the trick with the fucking Aftershock and the Aftershock blue was the crystal, like the sugar crystals that were in it.
Right.
That was the big like fanciness of it.
Yeah.
Whereas Ice 101 was just straight go fuck yourself, fuck your liver, fuck you tomorrow, fuck everything.
Right.
Like fuck your couch.
Fuck your couch. Buy another one, you rich motherfucker.
What the hell is this?
Aftershock
fungicidal coating.
Okay.
Would it be funny if it was the same shit? What's this?
What are you doing?
Aftershock Metallica. It must be some sort of like show. Metallica has a bourbon out that I need to procure.
We should drink it on the show. We should do it when we decide to do 1991's music.
Okay.
Get a
Yeah.
bottle of that, and we'll.
Yeah, because I think correct me if in the chat. I think. You know what? I have fucking the power of the Google. Metallica bourbon. Yeah, blackened. So apparently, they fucking play. Like it'll have it on the bottle. Itself.
Yeah, scroll up. A marriage of the finest bourbon, rye, and whiskeys.
And selected by Dave Kirkwell himself.
Who?
I don't know. Dave's not here.
Dave?
So let's see. Look at this. Free plug for fucking Metallica shit that like they need it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Because we're not
uniquely-
on there nuts enough on
Yeah.
this show.
uniquely finished in black brandy casks and the earth-shattering music of Metallica. So they play Metallica music while it's aging.
Okay.
Because why not?
Sure. All
Yeah.
right. Well, your mission is to get a bottle of that.
I will procure a bottle.
And we will imbibe it whilst we talk about the music of 1991. Because Metallica will be part of that
Oh god, you can't not be.
discussion.
I know you're number one.
From 91?
Yeah. I know it.
What is it?
Well, then you're gonna.
I don't even know what it is. So, like, I haven't done the research. So, I'm curious.
Put a
what
pin
your,
in that. Like type it in, put it in your phone, and then we'll save it for.
It's not November Rain. If
Thank
that,
God.
yeah. Nothing lasts forever.
No.
in the cold November rain.
Not that it's a bad song,
No, it
but
is.
It's one of those.
get the fuck out of my studio.
It's just like so. I was listening to "Can't Touch This" on
Dun, 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 dun.
"Can't Touch This." I was listening to it, and it has like an extra verse too many. Like when you think about the show, like it's like okay, can't touch this, can't touch this,
Yeah.
okay, we still can't touch this. Oh, we still can't touch this.
Yeah.
Extra fucking like okay, we get it from the fucking album to the bay or whatever the fuck it is you're saying.
Yeah. It's
We're
him,
done.
yo, him, MC, yo, him, and the rest of it. Go and play. Can't touch this.
Fade out. We just need to hit the fader out, fade out. I don't remember it being as long.
Yeah.
November Rain makes you think of that because is it not the longest fucking song ever?
Well, November Rain is, yeah. But
All right. They don't deliver to PA.
who's they? Who's they? Shit. Who's they? What do you mean they blew up the Death Star?
That's I'm gonna have to watch that later. All right. Yeah, we should sign off.
All right.
It's 8:15.
Yeah. Dave needs to get home. Jason needs to drink a lot of water.
Facts.
We're watching Ghost tonight.
No.
You sure?
No.
You sure? No?
No. Oh, my love, my darling.
I hunger for your touch alone. Kermit sings.
Frog, yeah.
I need your love. I need your love. All right.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for the 5 of you who are still with us.
Woohoo! You're the best.
We love you. And we'll see you next week when we catch up on the Bad Batch.
Yes.
Peace, bitches. Come back next year when I put some eggnog in your face.